welcome to Nerd TV, everyone, for another race. This time presented by the ERL Evolution Racing League with the Best One Tire and Service RSR Next Gen Cup Series. Race number 2 for us here at Nerd TV for this season of 2023B. And proud to be here and to call the race in the action alongside you guys for 145 laps this evening. You see the weather right there on the right-hand side of your track map. 78 degrees in the skies, 55% humidity, partly cloudy, and 2-mile-an-hour winds. Not going to be a factor once again. And if you caught our race last night, 120 degrees on the track surface to start off practice. And this time, well, it's only at 103. So a much cooler, still very hot, but much cooler surface than what we saw yesterday. My name is Jeremy Stanley, and Jason Rockefeller was here last week. This time, it's going to be our producer / co-broadcaster, Mr. Dustin Loxton. How are you doing tonight?
Ready to sit down and see what these RSR drivers here at the Evolution Racing League can get done at New Hampshire, which has proven to be a very difficult, tricky track for these next-gen Cup cars. Yeah, they are not liking this flat track here, as you've seen in pre-race. Like you said, if you caught the FTSR race last night, these things, especially with these hot track conditions, which is just ridiculous. These things are just slipping and sliding, especially off of turn 2 and 4. Turn 2, it seems like it's the worst one. It's got that bump right at the exit of turn 2, depending on how low you are. It breaks that right rear tire loose, and just all hell breaks after that. So these drivers definitely going to have their hands full tonight, much as what the real Cup cars did, FTSR did. So sit tight for the JS Excel Construction 145, because it's going to be a hell of a show.
Yeah, I mean, the racing that we saw yesterday was it's probably gonna be very telling. Very similar practice. We're seeing a lot of cars in this practice session getting loose on corner exit, just having handling issues all around the track. We saw the same thing last night in that practice session, but in the race time, things flipped. They stayed conservative. They made sure they managed the tire wear, which we also learned there's not much tire wear here. The real life guys didn't experience it. Here in the simulation on iRacing, they're not experiencing it. Then we saw strategy unfold where 2 tires, after running 20 laps on a pit stop, was able to win the race. So many different things that could happen here. And Dustin, after this race is over, we're going to have 500 laps called at New Hampshire between Wednesday, Monday, and today. So this is the final race, thankfully, from New Hampshire for us. But practice is winding down. Harold Watkins coming P1 here with the practice session over second place Brian Fine and third place last season champion Ryan Bean. We're going to try to go on board with practice winner there, Harold Watkins, on this qualifying lap if he loads up on track soon. If not, we'll find somebody else well within the top 10.
Yeah, and one thing that we were talking about is where we're going off camera here, is, what a lot of people do not realize is that this track here is a mile, but in comparison, you look at what these cars were running at Atlanta. They were running 30-second laps, 31-second laps at Atlanta. That's a mile and a half. This is a half a mile shorter, and you're still running equal length lap times. So it's that mind concept thing where drivers and leagues are like, oh, hey, it's a mile track. It's going to be shorter in the amount of laps. It actually takes longer because of just the way this track is configured.
Yeah, 100% here. And a lot of people like to throw away the first lap. Some like to go for it. Right now, the 23 coming off of turn 2. Looks like he's going to try to make this first lap his good lap here. He's going to drive into turn 3. A lot of different lines around this track. Looks like he's going to do the mid slide up there, dime in the corner in a sense to try to straighten out exit. Comes off of turn number 4. 3 people have already posted their times. He gets to the line, and he almost matches his practice time. Instantly jumps up first on the board at a 30.782. Let's see what he gets for lap number 2.
Yeah, very clean line here. Like you said, multiple lines throughout the next-gen Cup car, as well as the trucks, Jeremy. We've seen drivers run that bottom groove. We've seen him run exactly where Watkins is running right now in the second groove. We've seen him run the third, and even that top black groove, there is a grip patch up there. We've even seen in the trucks drivers run below the yellow on that apron because there is a grip patch down there if you can hit it right and get away from the bumps coming out of turn 2. So we've seen just a plethora of different lines around this track, and that's what makes it so difficult because you have no idea what these drivers are going to run. You don't know what their setups are actually keyed towards or anything. As you see, Anthony Ludi there was actually up into that third lane coming down. That's another route that they'll take. They'll take that diamond approach, very reminiscent of Bristol, going in low, let it drift up high, and then sitting here and shooting it right back down low again. So we're going to see a lot of different lines at this track.
And this is what makes this track cool. It is a flat track, and it looks pretty boring just looking at the track, right? But then there's just so many grooves that really just makes things interesting for sure. On that lap by Tony Ludi, put some, it looks like right around 15th or so on the board there, coming through turn 3 and 4. And I don't know if that's the preferred lane there. I think I want to be on the second groove, which is the first lane that's extra banked, or the dark stuff there in lane 4. But he's going to cross the line. It picks up a little bit. 31.18 is going to put him P14. And now we're turning our focus to last season champion Ryan Bean here. Currently sitting fourth with a 30.79. This is his lap number 2. Let's see what he can do here on the second lap.
Yeah, and look at these qualifying times, Jeremy. You're talking the top 4 are all in the 30.7, ranging from 0.74 to 0.79, being Ryan Bean right now, who's on your screen. Very close qualifying times as he crosses the line, betters his time, puts him at P2 at 30.76. So 200ths off of the pole time, now currently held by Nathan Campbell.
That was last week's race winner there in Atlanta. Nathan Campbell coming in and stealing the pole away from Harold Watkins, who thought he had it. But Ryan Bean also getting really close. The top four, all within the same tenth of a second, a 30.7 something. Really tight here, Dustin, all the way through the top 10, all about a second and a half or a tenth and a half separation. Now we're looking at Michael Carter. She's going to drive through turns 3 and 4. Let's see what time he can post as the session closes down within less than a minute before we go racing.
Yeah, very typical entry on that one there. Comes in, runs that second line, drifts up to the third, comes back down. That's that diamond arc that, we see a lot at Bristol. You see it at Dover at times as well. But yeah, these qualifying times, I mean, you're talking the top 4, 30.7. Then you're looking at the next 5 are 30.8. And then you got 3 of them in the 30.9. So you're looking at your top 12 are within 0.2 of a second, which at a very flat track, which is known to be a driver's track, meaning that sometimes, I mean, this you could perform well at this track if it's something that you enjoy running. Otherwise, this could be a very long race. But as it sits right now, Nathan Campbell will receive your pole award for tonight's event.
Yeah, that's going to put him in a great spot here. The first race being at a super speedway for us, we don't know what the skill set looks like on these shorter tracks and the 1.5 miles. And telling sign that Nathan Campbell is coming through strong here, gets that win, and then going to follow it up with a pole position at a 1 mile flat track. So I'm excited to see what these guys have in store for 145 laps around this New Hampshire facility. And tonight's starting order, Nathan Campbell is going to be taking P1. Ryan Bean's going to be in second place. Harold Watkins in third. Blake Howell, we're going to find him in fourth. Rusty Modesty in fifth. Trevor Massetti in sixth. Brian Fine in seventh. Zach Strenthal in eighth. Kevin Zablaudil in ninth. And Matt Hayden rounds out tonight's top 10 for the starting grid.
11th is going to be Matt Upbrook. 12th is going to be Alexander Hodge. Michael Sheffield will start in 13th. Brock Potter will start 14th. Stan Carnathan will start in P15. Anthony Ludi, P16. Alonzo King Jr. will start his machine in the 17th spot. Calvin Ruff will start in 18, and I have a hard time with that, especially with Calvin. I had to catch myself, Jeremy. 19th is going to be Jerry Culver, and rounding out your top 20 is Justin Hendry.
21st, Michael Carter. 22nd is going to be James Fitzmaurice. 23rd, Nolan Potter. 24th, Mark Thibodeau. 25th, Stephen Rakic. 26th, James Catrone. 27th is going to be Adam Boughton, sorry. 28th, Andrew Little. 29th, Kane Lee. 30th, Richard Gonzalez. 31st, Robert Fitzpatrick Sr., 32nd, James Wright, and tonight's 33rd car and the final one in the field, Michael Martino. On the Facebook chats, we got Bob Fitzpatrick saying he cannot be here. He is stuck at work. Sorry to see that, man. Hopefully you'll be able to clear out that schedule for next week's race. Richie Coy from the FTSR group saying, "Get her done, nerds." That's what we're here to do, sir. And then Sherry Edwards Culver saying, "Good luck, Jerry Culver." So we got some fan bases on the Facebook chat. Feel free to chime in at any point in time in this race. Would love to give you guys a shout out. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the second race here in the 2023 B season for the RSR Next Gen Cup Series.
Absolutely. So story tonight, Nathan Campbell in that 45 took the pole position, is not gridded at all. He is not on your parade lap right now. Himself and James Wright are currently out. So again, took the top spot, not starting on the grid, Jeremy. So we'll have to try to follow up on that later on once more information becomes available.
Yeah, I was hoping he would jump in late, but packet loss there in qualifying. He did finally get connected back to the session, but right now he is not even sitting in pit road, so this is going to be hard for him to get back to lead with the Lucky Dog Awards. But here we go, the 23 and the 28 dead heat at the line here coming through turn one. We saw this last night where the outside seemed to be the fastest groove here, and once again it's going to prevail. Ryan Bean early on through turn one and two is going to be able to clear the 23 off of turn two.
Yeah, first and second right now being Bean, a walk-in single file. Right now the battle is for third between the 26 of Howell and the 6 of Modesty. And right now that outside lane getting that run that we've seen a lot throughout this week, as he is going to get that good run coming off. That is Blake Howell does take over that third position. Now Modesty under pressure from the 17 of Zabladil.
2 by 2 for 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. There are 3 wide on the front stretch for 7th, 8th, and 9th. Almost still 3 wide off corner exit here. This battle well within the top 5 and top 10 is going really strong here as we still stay focused with the 57. That's Brian Fine. We got the 6 of Ruddy Modesty here. And right in front of them, Blake Howell in the 26. They're in that black and red machine as well as that 17 car of Kevin Zabadil. Just the 57 will not leave that left rear quarter panel early on in this race there, Dustin.
No, and the 6 of Modesty gets a little loose on corner entry there. You seen that little wobble there as it was getting loose under braking there. Good thing he was able to save it. We've seen these cars here with that rack and pinion steering that once it breaks loose and they try to save it, you may be able to try to save it, but on the flip of a coin, it may snap, and it snaps in a hurry. So it was a good thing there that Modesty was able to keep that car under control, under braking going into the turn there.
And this is now reminiscent of what we've seen here at New Hampshire from history and from recent. Single file all the way until you get to about 15th or 14th place. And then from there on, it's still mostly single file. So we do have stage break coming up on lap 55. Oh, we got a slider here through the... the 11 comes back up the track and absolutely destroys the number 1 of Michael Sheffield, loses the entire nose clip. Multiple cars in this one for the first caution presented by Roasted Gems Coffee.
That one there was a tough one. It almost, it looked like it. I mean, we seen on screen Alexander Hodge was getting loose in the corner, but that may have actually started with the 2 of Zach Schertenethal, as he looked like he had a heavy braking point going into the corner. So I don't know if the 11 was actually looking to brake to prevent from getting into him, but it was hard impact as we're actually going to ride. As you've seen the 2 there. Yeah, and Jeremy, I'm going to say that's almost exactly what it was. That was just a product of racing there. The 11 just got on the binders there to prevent getting into the back of Schertenethal, and Hodge just lost it. And unfortunately, the 1 of Sheffield, the innocent bystander in that one there, had nowhere to go, gets collected. Very reminiscent of last week. That number 1 seemed like almost had a target on his back for cautions. Just wrong place at the wrong time every time.
Yeah, Zach definitely lost the rear end of his car through the center of 3. had to correct it, locked it up a little bit, and then the number 11 of Alexander just locked it up too, trying to maybe thought he was going to come down the track or whatnot, overreact a little too strong, and then that overcorrection. These next gen cars, once it hooks real quick, hooked it right in front of the field, destroyed the number one, and then I think everybody else, for the most part, minus the 13 doing a little slide through the apron on turn four. Nobody else was involved in that one, so that could have been a much bigger pile up there. But thankfully, only two cars involved, and a lot of damage to that one. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to return to this race.
Yeah, that was hard impact. Now, we do know that these next gen cars are more resilient than their predecessors have been as far as body work. But that was, I mean, that was a hard impact at full speed coming off the corner exit, which is when you're under the most throttle on that corner exit. So tough hit on that one there. Tough break right now for the number one of Michael Sheffield. Again, second week in a row, just off to a rough start for this 2023 B season for that number one team.
Yeah, 100% here is pace lights still remain on the truck here as we're going to get the wave around for one of these guys. And it looks like it's going to be Nathan Campbell who has resumed on the racing surface. As soon as he crosses the line, we're going to see how many laps down he is. But he's going to get that, I guess we call it the Lucky Dog Award, being the only car on the track that's running that's more than one lap down there, Dustin.
Yeah, and it's an unfortunate thing. That's something that all of us here in the sim world, it is an obstacle that we have to overcome, and that is packet loss, internet connections. I mean, we're stretched across a vast area here, being the continental United States for those of us that live outside of the United States as well. So it's tough, but it looks like the 45 is still experiencing some blinking, Jeremy. So connection issues may not be over on that 45 team. We're gonna have to keep an eye on that.
Yeah, we got less than a lap to go before we're going to go back to green flag for the second time here. And on my end, he's looking stable, and I'm really hoping that holds true the entire rest of the race because this guy obviously has a fast car, fastest in practice, got the pole, and he just needs to have internet work in his favor to contend with these guys. But the 28's already shown strong what the outside restarts can look like. Can the 23 Harold Watkins reverse the script there from the initial start? And maybe he can drive just past the 28 on corner exit of two. Pace truck is down, waiting for the flagman to fly the flag. Green flag is out, but the 28 of Ryan Bean, huge start. Already clears the 23 there of Harold by at least 2 to 3 car lengths. Coming through turn number one. Obviously has the lead single file, but now the battle's on for third and fourth here. The 17 on the outside of the 26, able to clear him. So the outside seems to be just like yesterday, where the place to be early on.
Yeah, I was almost, as you see a race right now between the 6 of Modesty and the 26 of Howell. Those drivers just cannot get away from each other right now. But I was almost questioning Bean's approach at taking that low line on that initial start, knowing how strong that outside is on that start there. But with the start that he got, I don't think it would have mattered what lane he was going to be in on that one there. He was able to capitalize on that as we have our second Roasted Gems caution flag of the evening, Jeremy.
Yep, it looks like it's going to involve at least the number 9 of Richard Gonzalez here, and he gets loose in the center of 1 and 2, hits the apron transition. You're going to see here on the Nerd TV replay on the flat, lane number 1. Not many people want to go down there. And then Boop by the 48 there, drives around, does a 360, and look at the scattering those guys did, including Nathan Campbell there on the number 11 as well, of Alexander Hodge. Almost gets in both wrecks there. Great heads up once again by most of these guys to the field as we're going to get another angle from this wreck. Just gets loose, Dustin. As soon as he hits that flat, spins in front of the 48 of Robert Fitzpatrick Sr. In slow motion, the 32
Ooh.
barely just escapes the 45 Nathan.
Oh,
man. It's so close. And then there's the 11 of Alexander. Sharp corner to the
amazing
left.
heads up driving by those
Huge.
guys.
Awesome stuff there.
Yeah, but like you were saying, Jeremy, that is
Look at the
oh, faking out or the pit entry. But like you were saying, not a lot of drivers want to go down to that bottom lane. That's why. I mean, that bottom lane, as long as your setup is geared for it and you can keep your car down there, you can gain that grip down there. But when you start transitioning from that first lane to that second lane, there is an actual slope, an actual degree grade increase on that one there, and it's just enough to offset the balance of that car. And you seen what happened right there. Gonzalez and that number 9 was the one that paid the price on that one there, looping it around.
And more so with these next gen cars, right? The fact that the suspension travel is just not there like it is in the trucks and Xfinity, and then the Gen 6 that the Cup Series used to run, there's not much travel. So when you hit that banking transition, even if it's just 1 degree on paper, that sounds like nothing, right? But these cars feel it when you're going 100 mile an hour plus to these corners, and so it definitely kicked loose sideways, and that's what happened there. Um, but I'm just impressed of how everyone was able to avoid that. The number 11, the 32, the 45, excellent job all around there. Seeing I have a disconnect here by Trevor Massetti. Looks like he's not going to continue in this race. That's the number 88. It looks like he's had some connection issues trying to get his car stable. Sorry to see that. So he's going to finish, looks like, in 32nd this evening. 2 laps left to go, Dustin, before we take this thing green flag for the 3rd time.
Yeah, and I'm going to be curious on if the 28 of Bean is going to choose the same approach as what he did on the last restart, which was that inside line. Again, if he gets a restart like he did, I don't think it matters what angle, but we have seen how strong that outside lane can be, especially on restarts going into turn 1 and 2. They can just carry that speed, and we've seen a lot of lead changes take place on restarts exiting turn 2 like that. So it's going to be interesting, and the more restarts we have, the more opportunities these drivers have to capitalize.
100% there. And the number 9 gets issued the EOL penalty for bringing out the second caution this evening. If you follow us on Nerd TV, but recently with just the FTSR guys, there's no EOL for the guy who caused the wreck. This place, they do. So they send the guy to the back this time, being the number 9 of Gonzalez. These guys are now 2 by 2 by 2. So we're going to go green next time by. Just right before we go back to green, Dustin, love to give a quick shout out to the series sponsor, Best One Tire and Service. So if you're looking for a one-stop automotive repair and tire shop, Best One Tire and Service helps you get the new tires, tire repairs, and auto service you need from the people you can trust. Check them out and find their nearest location near you by visiting bestonetire.com. And we're coming through
What
turns
a
3 and
plug
4.
too, Jeremy. I will say, with this,
Oh,
the way that these drivers are going to use up tires tonight, especially with how loose these cars have been in practice, excellent plug.
I thought you were going to go with plug like a tire plug. So there's so many puns I guess we could throw in there, but going to wait for that green flag. There it is. And Ryan Bean, just a complete replay of his second restart there, clears the 23 again by 2 to 3 car lengths. This time, Kevin Zabadil is going to get alongside the 23 of Harold Watkins, trying to contend for that second spot.
Yeah, side by side, this is the best restart that we've seen out of that 17 team right now, being Zabladil side by side with the 23 of Watkins. Watkins is going to prevail on that corner entry, which is typical because the inside car has to woe it up more, not to drift up into the outside. So again, it's not surprising that that inside or outside run actually prevails on corner entry. But I tell you what, the 17 of Zabladil giving a hell of a run on that 23 right now, side by side still. You see both of them have to check and lift up there just to get their car and front nose to set. And right now it's looking like Zabladil may actually prevail and take over that second position.
The way he came down the back stretch there looked like he was trying to break a draft that's only like 130 miles an hour. So I'm not sure what that looked like here. And once again, he dips down about midway down the straightaway, trying to break any advantage from the 23. I guess he knows that these cars are so alike, right? That any type of advantage you can get, I guess breaking the draft is the way to go here. This is an excellent battle still for second and third. Oh, we got the number 12 in the back, spins down into the grass all by himself, and I don't think that's going to bring out a caution here. We stay green.
That's the
But
two.
That's the 2 car. I think I said it the 12 last week too. Yeah, that's the number 2. That's Zach Strittenthal. And yeah, we're going to stay green. No damage to that guy. Just got loose. We saw this quite a few times yesterday. So the track being still triple digits in temperature. No surprise there as we kick it to Nerd TV replay.
Oh,
Single-handedly gets loose.
and the cut down so close across the front nose of the what looked like it was the 4 of Brock Potter. Just so close on that one, Jeremy. That was we're gonna take an onboard shot of Potter on that one because I believe that's who that was. Yeah, indeed it was. Look at how close it was. A little bit of contact there, but Brock Brock had nowhere to go, no time to check up. The 2 of Schertenthal was already getting loose on that one.
And as you're looking over that replay, this entire field, Dustin, has gone single file. Ryan Bean really loved the 17 and the 23 going side by side for those opening couple laps on this restart. He has jumped out to almost a 1.5 lead over second place Kevin Zabadil. But behind them though, they are just getting real race to the 57. Once again, Brian Fine trying to look underneath the 32 or the 23 rather. The 23 has the preferred group. Oh, and he makes contact with, sends the 57 to 23. Everybody else looks like it's not going to be affected, but this will bring out your third caution presented by Roasted Gems.
Oh, tough. And that's a tough area too, coming off the corner on that one there, especially when you're trying to get everything lined up. We're actually going to go on board here. See right now, Fine is on the inside. They come off the corner, a little bit of looseness out of that 23 of Watkins there. We're going to see if we can't get another angle on that one there. But yeah, that was a tough one coming off that corner.
Yeah, I don't think anything was wrong by the 57. I think you're correct. The 23 definitely choked up corner exit here. Runs a really low. Oh, you see the brake tap too, even. Had to woe it up to not get that car sideways. And the 57 was just running an aggressive line, trying to get around him, and just had nowhere to go once the 23 hit the brakes. And that's all she wrote there.
Yeah, and that's a tough break. Like I said, that's the bad thing about the shorter tracks like that is you do not have any time to react, especially when it's that close. I mean, you've seen how quick it was, just that quick tap of the 23 of Watkins there just to try to keep that car from breaking loose and keep it under control. And it just was enough to slow it up that the 57 of Brian Fine, he couldn't do anything. He had no time to check up. Both drivers did a fine job of preventing any further damage. So again, they got a lot of laps left. They can still bring that back up.
2 weeks in a row. We're already having a lot of fun with that one there. As these guys are getting sorted out here, we're going to jump to a quick picture-in-picture commercial break. We'll be back right before the green flag flies. And back to full screen here as we're going to get set up for this third restart this evening. Ryan Bean on the 28 elects to take the top side over the 17 of Kevin Zabadil. As the 28, the past two restarts on the bottom, has had a clear advantage, jumping out to 2 to 3 car lengths both times before even getting to the corner. Let's see if he repeats this here. Pace truck is down, green flag is out, and there's the 28. I don't know if he's just got the right gearing for this thing, but he has nitrous in that thing. Zooms out again the same amount of distance over the 17 of Kevin as they go through turns 1 and 2. The 57 side by side with the 26 of Blake Howell coming off into the backstretch.
Yeah, Blake Howell and Rusty Modesty, these two have been duking it out now. Now duking it out for that final podium position right now, being third place. Modesty holds that over the 26 of Howell, but the number 5 of Matt Hayden is sitting in the wings, ready for to pounce to see exactly what's going to work out and who's going to take the position, so he knows exactly what line to run.
Yeah, still has a continuing good battle here with the 6 and the 26 off of turn 2. I want to jump over to the Facebook chats real quick and the YouTube ones. I saw Sheila Geary on YouTube saying, "Go Blake Howell." I was trying to get to that comment. I just could not get it loaded, but I finally got it there, so we're good.
Oh,
And then on the Facebook side, I see
what a
Michelle Rittenberry.
save!
Oh, by the 10 there. Yeah, it looks like he is really off pace. Let's see if we can get there. Andrew Little apologizing as well on the radio chat. So a couple cars maybe had something to do with that as we stay green. But Michelle Rittenberry say, "Let's go, Kevin Ruff." And Chuck Beal saying, "Where's Tony?" Well, looks like, oh, actually, hold on. Looks like he's sitting 13th, but we have our fourth caution presented by Roasted Gems Coffee. This time it's going to be by the 75 of Michael Martino. Self spin once again on the bottom of the track as we're actually going to look at a couple things on the replay. The 68. Ooh,
That was the first thing that happened. That was an excellent
yeah.
save. Split going 3 wide through the corner. That happened actually before this most recent Roasted Gems caution. That was what Andrew Little was keying up to the rest of the drivers, saying sorry. Again, looseness plaguing a lot of these drivers today. But then that ended up leading up to the most recent Roasted Gems caution was brought out, like you said, Jeremy, involved Mike Martino in this one here.
Yeah, this is off a turn 2. And the 68 did apologize for causing brown pants there as everyone tried to avoid him. But there's a 75 again on the first lane there, the flatter part of the track, and just these next gen cars are not liking that flatter part when you're doing speeds of 100 miles an hour. This time it's going to bite Michael. And again, nobody else involved. That's excellent to see. So he's just going to lose the spots. He needs to get forward fresh set of virtual Goodyears. And the thing with this series, Dustin, at RSR, they have 2 additional sets, only 2. So you have to spin those wisely.
Yeah, you're gonna have to. Good thing is though, Jeremy, is these drivers have not ran a lot on these as far as green flag laps. I mean, Jeremy, we're only working lap 29 of 145. These drivers are gonna have to get in tone. They're gonna have to be patient. They're gonna have to work because otherwise, this is gonna be a very, very long race for these drivers. As it goes right now, like I said, we're only working lap 29, so these drivers not very many laps on these tires at all.
Yeah, as soon as they cross the line, it's going to be 116 to go, only at lap 30 when they get there. So still got a stage break too. So I think this is time for these guys to maybe say, "Hey, we need to just calm it down just a touch. Let's wait till stage break, and then we can get a little more aggressive as we get to the back half of this race." But yeah, 4 cautions early on here.
Yeah, Richard Gonzalez is your hashtag Get a Grip Lucky Dog recipient. So get your lap back, get back into the game there, and like what we've been saying, Jeremy. I mean, these drivers just have to be patient. There's a lot of laps here. Be patient. But right now, it's I don't think these drivers are struggling with other drivers at all right now, Jeremy. They're struggling with the track. Uh, they need to maybe not focus on the driver so much and just focus on that track because this track here is actually proven to be their biggest obstacle right now.
Yeah, the track temp has finally dropped below 100 degrees, sitting at 98 at the moment here Going to bring up the stats here presented by Roasted Gems Coffee. We're still at 2 mile an hour winds. Obviously, at a short track, that plays no factor. 78 in the skies, that really has not changed. Partly cloudy, and then that track temp already down quite a few degrees. I think it was about 5, I think, since the qualifying session started. So um, it's still blistering hot. And obviously, if you upset your car just a little bit, this track is not forgiving. It will send you for a ride. And so, we got 25 laps to go before we get to stage break. You really just need to buckle down here, fit in, go single file the rest of the way until you get to that stage because you still got a long ways to go here tonight.
Yeah, and the way that I see it, Jeremy, is I agree with you. I think they need to go single file, pick your passes, be smart about it. Make sure that you can do it without losing control of the car. Just get to that stage break because there's probably a lot of these drivers, Jeremy, that they want and not only want, but they are screaming for some adjustments on these cars, but they don't want to come in and give up that ever so valuable track position. So they just need to make it to that stage break so they can get those adjustments made.
Yeah, 'cause you're not going to get the your pits or your tires changed because you're trying to save those for the long run later on this evening. So that's just a waste of time there. But the green flag is back out, and Ryan Bean just knows what he's doing. He's going to jump out to that same distance. 17. Kevin actually gets a car length or so over the 26 and the 5, that being Matt Hayden and Blake Howell. They're going to remain side by side down this back stretch, and everybody else surprisingly is still side by side as they come barreling into turn 3.
Yeah, like I said, this is where it gets hairy, Jeremy, because like I said, so many different lines. I mean, you look back there at the race in there, you had the 99 of Ruff right around Kevin Ruff, Stan Carnathan, almost looked like it was going to go 3 wide, almost looks like it could go 3 wide again. This is where it's got to be careful. You got the 45 of Nathan Campbell trying to make his way back up after that packet loss.
Oh,
Now,
no.
we got one car going loose. That is Catrone.
He's around. He's
around,
still in the infield.
Still in the infield. No caution will come out. He keeps it down. Excellent car control by the 38 of James Catrone on that one there. He will lose a lot of positions, but his saving grace, Jeremy, is we do have that stage break caution coming up. He just needs to keep it clean enough to get to that stage break caution as he almost loses a cut through the grass right now as he's finally back on track.
His tires are 100% shot as he's going to drop from 14th place back to 29th as we're now focusing back on these guys up here. I want to have a mention here. Look at this bright yellow Toyota in the center now, the right-hand side of your screen. That's Mr. Nathan Campbell. That's the guy, or Nate Campbell. That's the guy who started first, did not join in on the initial grid. He got his laps back, and he is back in the top 10. So you give this guy a few more cautions, get him on a 4 fresh set of virtual Goodyears, and I think Ryan Bean is going to finally have some competition.
Yeah, and one thing we got to remember is Nate Campbell is last week's winner, so he already has one dub under his belt in the 2023 B season right now. Has a pole for tonight, had connection issues, got the laps back like you said, and he is blistering as he locks it up going in to stay out of the back of the 80 of Alonzo King Jr. Excellent job, not just freight training and just railroading the back end of that number 80, but that's just telling you how hard that 45 of Campbell is pushing it right now, Jeremy.
Yeah, he is trying to get everything out of this car where he can. 2.5 back of the race leader. Ryan Bean and the 17 of Kevin Zabadil. Right now, those two guys up front are separated by 0.7 of a second. And then third and fourth are still neck and neck there. Coming through turns 1 and 2. The number 5, Matt Hayden, just barely has any advantage on the 26.
Ooh.
Slightly faster exit, but this time I think he got a little loose and drove the car down to the bottom. It's going to allow Blake Howell to make that pass clean, entering 3.
Yeah, entering 3. So right now, change of third place. Blake Howell in third. Matt Hayden now in fourth, and he's going to be coming under pressure from the 4 of Brock Potter, who we seen earlier when the 2 of Shertenethal got loose and made contact. He's worked his way back up into the top 5 right now. The person fallen back since the last 2 restarts, though, is that 6 of Rusty Modesty. He has fallen back to the 6th place position to match his car number, and he has a lot of pressure from the 80 of King behind him and the 45 of Campbell behind him.
Yeah, just pretty awesome racing. Even though they have gone single file for the most part, um, the racing has just been pretty good. Not much contact, surprisingly. You see the 50 or the 6 rather there, a little bit of contact with the 80 Alonzo King, and there we go. More contact involves more spinning, and the caution is out for the 5th time. As soon as I said that they were going to be clean, they wrecked themselves. So that's going to be on me, not on those guys. But the 80 made contact with the 6 there of Rusty Modesty off the corner, and he bumped him a second time, and that's what sent him around on the backstretch.
Yeah, and that's again, it's at this stage. I mean, we have to be careful. I mean, look how close it is, and he's look what he's doing right now. He's teetering between that low lane and that first lane and that second lane, Jeremy. And we've seen already that it just does not work with these cars. You don't have the cornering. The front nose does not dig and bite like what it normally does. And I mean, that racing right there was already close as it was there. You seen just a little bobble and then it come right back up. The 80 does a good job keeping it straight, locks it down. The 6, you can see the skid marks going through. He does make contact with the inside wall, though.
He does just a little bit there. And looking at this car right there, I don't see much of anything going on that's going to affect this. Plus, again, is more of a short track style track. So, the aerodynamics aren't as important as we get another look here in real speed. Just bump once, bump twice, sends the 6 down. And thankfully, that wall kind of kicks out a little bit extra. So kind of relieves some of that contact to the 6 there. But it doesn't go away to the tire barriers. We saw yesterday in our broadcast, a couple cars destroyed those tires that stick out there right before the road course section that turns right outside the track. And but yeah, just getting that extra damage fixed. You're still seeing them right there on pit road. The fenders just pushed in just a little on that right front, but I think that's completely repairable, and it should not affect him on the leaderboard.
No, and like I said, I mean, you've already seen that fender get pushed back out there as his virtual pit crew is tending to the boo-boos and the scratches and bumps there. So again, it is they'll get him back out there, but he wants to stay on that lead lap. So he's watching that pace truck. He is going to get out in front of that pace truck, just to make sure he maintains as there he goes. One thing, Jeremy, to note is we did see a number of takers come down pit road under this caution. So, with that being said, I mean, it's probably a safe bet to say that we have some takers already on that first set of tires.
Yes, they for who has pitted so far, they have one more set to play with between now and 104 laps. So be pretty cautious and conservative on these tires. Though the tire wear is not extreme, we're seeing lap times 30 laps into a run, and they're only 3/10 slower. But this track has been proven to be loose and hard to handle. So if you kick it loose once or twice, your tires are shot. So just got to watch out for that. Before these guys go back to green flag dust, I want to thank another one of the sponsors here this evening. This time it's going to be Admin Box with 2 X's. They have built for sim racers by iRacers, utilizing in league and hosted races. The goal is to make race control as easy as possible for race admins, either racing or providing race control. Each admin box connects via USB and features pre-programmed commands. No key bindings required for the race control, driver functions, and pit options. LED lighting makes the button box highly visible in any situation. Check out their pricing plans at adminbox.com. And when you're there and you're shopping, and whatever you put in your shopping cart, use code RSR-BOXX for 10% off.
Yeah, excellent little tool there, that admin box. I know that that RSR and the Evolution Racing League were happy that they hopped on board for the 2023 B season. Hopped on board roughly around the same time that we hopped on board to provide broadcasting to this great league. So, but like I said, getting ready to go back green. Are we going to see another great start? Another great start by the 28 of Bean. He is on these restarts. These drivers are going to have to do something to try try to lock him down on these restarts if we're going to keep having it. But side by side battle for second and for fourth right now, as these drivers are going back and forth, Jeremy.
Yeah, you would think someone would finally match this restarts here by the 28. We've had so many attempts at it to see where he is starting his car. They're getting a little better, but still the 28 having that control is obviously king here. The 17 though, Kevin Zabado has his best chance. I think we're 3 wide here down the front straightaway with the 23 on the inside. Clears him, he shoots it in deep into the corner from the bottom, slides up to about the third lane, able to gain the spot, keep control. So he's going to progress forward, that being Harold Watkins trying to get back to the front of this field.
Yeah, again, very bold move, especially here late in the run coming up. But again, he was one of the drivers, him and that 57 of Brian Fine had that contact. They both fell back. They are trying to make their way back up right now, and is Watkins has just cracked the top 10. And Brian Fine is just outside the top 10 right now, battling side by side with the 34 of Nolan Potter. Those drivers been side by side now for the last couple laps, with the 34 of Potter finally prevailing.
This racing back here through 10th place through 20th is just insane right now. A lot of side by side action, quite a few cars getting loose. So not only are they racing the competition, at the same time they're having to race their own car, as we have under 10 laps to go before we see stage break. These guys are trying to get themselves into position before that caution comes out, that they know that's coming out for sure. But the top half of the field is quite the opposite story, being very calm at the moment, single file, at least 2 car lengths in space between most of these guys. Until you get to about the 57 there, looks like he is side by side for position.
Yeah, that 57 now side by side again. Again, they're trying to make up every bit that they can right now. He is currently side by side with the 24 of Michael Carter. Those two have been duking it out. Right now, Brian Fine, the 57 on the high side, gets that excellent run off, cutting off that exit speed for the 24, and he will pass Mark Brian Fine up one more position. He is one position outside that top 10.
Excellent job here within this top 10. They're just logging laps at this point. Let's get to this stage and get set up for the long run here, as we're looking at the number 2 of Zach trying to pass the number 11 of Alexander Hodge. Runs them real close there through turn 1, coming through turn 2. Let's see who's going to prevail off corner exit. The 2 doesn't have the preferred lane, but able to keep the momentum going here. Does clear the 11, at least momentarily. Does 11 make the charge? It looks like he's actually going to hold back in that third lane, so the number 2 is going to get that position.
Yeah, almost had a looker there to go 3 wide. You had the 68 of Andrew Little on the high side, the 24 of Michael Carter on the low side, and that 21 of Steven Resick decided he was maybe pondering the concept of pushing it 3 wide. Thought better of it, though. Let it kind of cycle out. He now surpasses the 24 of Carter. So Mark Rasick up to the 13th position, up 12 from his initial start. And if you want to talk about big movers, you have Rasick up 12, that 68 in front of him. Andrew Little up 16 from his starting spot. Nolan Potter in front of him up 12. And the other big mover up 12 as well is that 99 of Kevin Ruff. So a lot of big movers so far in this race, Jimmy.
Yeah, Nolan Potter up 12. That's a great point to point out there. A lot of these guys, there's been a lot of cautions. So, like, the green flag racing has not been there. So, of course, actually, we got our 6th caution presented by Roasted Gems Coffee on the racing surface. This time, it looks like we're going to be all the way back to at least the number 8 of Tony Ludi through turns 1 and 2 again. And this is the 4th time we've had a self spin, but he unfortunately gets a little bit into that tire barrier there, but I think his nose is fine. But yeah, the 4th time we've seen a solo spin.
Yeah, and it gets really tough, on this track here, and that's why I said a lot of these drivers, their biggest adversary right now is we're gonna go in on a helmet cam here. You're gonna see him work it the second it breaks loose. Look at that wheel, almost 90 degrees to the right, all the way to the right, locking it up. A little bit of contact, but like you said, those tires, they kind of cushion that a little bit. But right now, the biggest adversary for each and every one of these drivers, New Hampshire Motor Speedway.
Yeah, 100% here. We're gonna go actually do a quick picture-in-picture mode once we go back to live here, and we're gonna be back shortly before the drop of the green flag. And we are back here, full screen, and this is stage break. The caution came out a few laps prior. The admins extended the caution to make that official, and three cars stayed out. Not did not elect to pit. That's gonna be the number 2 is Zach Strintenthal, Matt Upbrook, and James Catrone. Those three guys stayed out, and then the number 28 Ryan Bean is going to resume the first guy with 4 fresh set of Goodyears. Going to be on the outside of row number 2. And these guys have a lap and a half, Dustin, before we go back to green.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because again, we had a number of these drivers that ended up hitting earlier. So with a limited set of tires, these drivers are going to try to do as much as what they can to conserve. So uh, we figured that there were going to be some drivers that were going to stay out. Now the question is how big of a battle are these drivers going to put up having tires that are 15 laps older, 10, 15 laps older than a lot of these other drivers like Bean and Zabladil and Campbell, Howell, Potter, Ruff, Watkins that all have fresh rubber right
Yeah, I know the tire wear is not huge here, but it will play a difference for the guys that are definitely faster for sure. Looking at that 45, that yellow car, I mentioned him about 15 laps prior. He got that lap back or so, able to rejoin. And now he's starting right behind right now the two fastest guys on the track, the 28 and the 17. So this might be a three-car battle here after they get clear of these top three guys at this moment. Going to be led off by the number two is Zach. I'm gonna get his last name right eventually, right? Stratinthnal. I butchered it there again. I apologize, but it's going to happen one day, I promise. But we got a half a lap here, and so what does the 28 do? Does he jump up to the third lane knowing he can get these restarts much better than some of these other guys? Or does he kind of just ride suit and maybe have to battle at 45 off of turn two? We're about to find out here. Pace truck should be dipping down any moment. Matt Upbrook has the preferred lane, or not the preferred lane, rather. I'll be on the bottom. Most of these restarts, the guy on the top has had the much better speed off corner exit, but green flag is out. The top three really get a good jump over these guys. Oh, the 17 hooks the 45, almost spins him. Great job locking it up and saving it. But this is going to separate fourth place and third place here, about 5 car lengths exiting turn two, Dustin.
Yeah, as they are 3 wide right now, the 17, 4, and 99 after that debacle that just happened in there. But again, fresh tires, cold tires going in. But look at the close battle right now, 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 all the way back as these guys are battling out because as it sits right now, just the top 6 are the only ones in line. The 17 of Zabladil right now battling with the 4 of Brock Potter, those two going back and forth, and 99 of Kevin Ruff waiting in the wings to see exactly what's going on. Remember, just a lap ago, these 3 drivers were 3 wide, and right now, the 99 of Ruff under a lot of pressure from the 23 of Watkins as they're side by side with the 34, pondering the idea of maybe pushing it 3 wide, but thinks better.
And this race is getting really good right here on this restart. A lot of side by side as the camera pans around this track. You see almost 3 wide here with the 17 in the middle. Gonna almost make contact with the number 4, Brock Park. Oh, we got the 99 of Kevin Ruff deep into the infield, smashes the guardrail, and he's gonna get it going. It took him a while to get the thing back into gear, but he is going there. No caution is out, but some massive damage there to that left front fender. Hopefully everything internally is connected, but we're going to jump over to the Nerd TV replay, and we're going to see what happened here. Once again, a self-spin. The second time we've seen it that did not bring out a caution, but man, that time, heavy impact.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Again, right off of turn 2, Jeremy, we talked about it in pre-race. That treacherous turn 2 is a tough, tough corner to master, especially coming off with how fast you're going with these next-gen cars. Excellent job locking it down, minimal damage. As now we do have our 7th Roasted Gems coffee out on the track, Jeremy. So this is going to, the biggest benefactor on this one is going to be the 99 of Kevin Ruff.
Yeah, 100%. I'm going to have to agree with you there as we're going to try to figure out where this caution came from, and it looks like you might have it here on the Nerd TV replay. And wow, another self spin, this time by the number 24. Gets loose, locks it up, and oh my gosh, these guys got so lucky he didn't go up all the way to the outside wall because that'd have been huge. That was Michael Carter in the 24.
Yeah, and this is exactly what we were talking about, Jeremy. With that rack and pinion steering on these next-gen cars, when it breaks loose, all of us sim racers are used to trying to save it. You see him back and forth, but it just, I mean, it snaps one way, the other way, and then you end up finding yourself in an overcorrection situation, and it's either going to snap, which luckily it did not for Michael Carter, or they're going to lock it down, meaning they're going to hammer on those brakes, they're going to hold the wheel in one position, and they're just going to bring that puppy to a stop until they can gain control of it. That's exactly what Michael did there.
Yeah, excellent job. A lot of these guys you've seen get loose is just excellent car control to not drive it back up into the field. And everybody else that has tried to avoid them has done a great job avoiding the car that's wrecking. On the front stretch, we saw it last night. We had a huge wreck, about 7 or 8 cars just piled into each other in the front stretch because there's a wall directly on your outside, of course, but you got the front stretch inside wall that blocks pit road. So you're just ping ponging left and right. But the way the 24 Michael was able to save the car and not hit a wall and keep it straight, essentially, I love that handling there.
Yeah, and again, that's in most cases with these next gen cars, that is going to be the best option. It really is. And they've done a fantastic job so far. Like I said, Jeremy, we talked about it during the picture in picture commercial break for stage. You know that even though there's been a number of cautions in this race, very few of them have actually been multi-car. And if they have been multi-car, it's only been like 2 cars. It hasn't really been a big one like what we seen on Nerd TV's broadcast yesterday of this very same track. So again, this group of guys very fortunate that they've been able to lock it down. That they've had great heads up, great communication and race comms, to get everybody through there. And we've also had a number of near cautions that weren't cautions. We just seen that with Kevin Ruff, the 99. That never brought it out. We seen it earlier with the 38 of James Catrone. Spins that never brought out a caution at all. So again, you look at the big picture. These drivers are doing a good job trying to keep it as clean as what they possibly can with the battle that they're having right now between these cars and this particular track.
Yeah, just a lot of struggle in midfield for whatnot. We had one wreck that involved a third and fourth place car. That was about 30 laps ago. But outside of that, it's been roughly 10th place on back that we've really seen the issues occur here. The top 10 have really locked in their setups and it's produced some awesome racing, which the back half of the field's been doing the same thing. It's just the handling is just not there, and that's what makes it a little more um, curious to know if they can go the distance on a long run, which we have not seen to this point. And if you look, Dustin, that 28, Ryan Bean is going to be your race leader once again. So we already know what this next restart will entail as he chooses the outside security answer there. Zach's going to be starting in second place. James on the tail end there of the number 2 going to be starting in third. And as we get ready to back to a green flag, I'd love to shout out another one of the partners here over at RSR Next Gen Cup Series. This time it's going to be Blake H Designs. Blake Howell Designs is your one-stop shop for all your iRacing design needs. Need a one-of-a-kind way to showcase your sponsors and look no further than Blake Howell Designs. Their staff will work with you to create your vision so that you'll look like a winner around every corner. And you can find them on Instagram at blake.h.designs. And we are 2 corners away for going back to green flag here. We're going to see this 28 get this jump. I'm curious to know how they're going to tackle Zach here. Still a little bit older tires than everybody else. As the green flag is out, the 26 looked like he got a jump over the number 2, and they're going to turn number 1 here.
Yeah, 26. That is Blake Howell now taking over that second spot. The 2 of Zach Schertenthal now in your third, but the battle right now is for fourth is the 45 of Nate Campbell and the 38 of James Catrone now side by side. As it goes in, it looks like the 45 of Campbell will prevail as he has that upper lane, drifts up to almost that fourth lane there, that little bit of black grip patch, but the 38 still battling back as he had an excellent turn 4 exit.
And we got the 8th caution here presented by Roasted Jim's Coffee. As I was watching a wreck that almost happened a half a lap prior, the 68 almost dumped it. But then we had another wreck here coming through possibly 3 and 4 here as we're on the Nerd TV replay side to see where the incident point was registered. And there we go. And oh no, he smashed the tire or the water barrels there and he collected another car. It looks like maybe the number 9 as well. And you see the engine grenade smoked. So at least 1 car out of this race.
Yeah, that was the 27 of Mark Thibodeau. Again, he was on that low lane. He hit that transition again. We've seen that a number of times between that bottom lane and second lane, and the car just did not like it. Bounced off the barrels, ended up collecting the number 9 of Gonzalez on that one there. So Gonzalez, the hard luck recipient of that one, he's just been all over the place. As we're actually going to ride on board with Gonzalez. You see right there, just no time to react. Just instant bounce off of those water barrels there right at pit road entry. Does a 360, keeps it going. Could have been a lot worse, Jeremy, but we know that that does have some damage on the front of that number 9.
Yeah, and the 48 really just got super lucky. He made contact with the 9 as he shot back up the track, that being Robert Fitzpatrick Sr., and did not feel it at all. He just kept going straight here. As we're seeing the wreck, which we're going to try to maybe get that on the replay there. So there was the first one that I was kind of watching, and then this one happened with the 27, and here comes the 9. Hits the 48 really hard there, but the 48's car just did not budge. So things made out of steel and kept it going. But yeah, if we could try, Dustin, I don't know if you can, that 68 of Andrew Little, they're still chatting about it in this race session here. As we're going to kick it up just a little bit in front. You saw the white smoke there on your screen, and just a few cars in front. Just shoots deep into the grass. It's like right there. Jump back onto the track a little late. You're going to do a little rewind here. As he gets tagged by the 57 entering turn 3, there's the bump. The 68 shot deep into that corner, locks it up, slides,
Wow!
almost merged in front of some cars. Hell of
My
a job.
goodness. That was, yeah, didn't even see that one register on any of the live timing on that one, but excellent job on that. I mean, locked it down. You've seen the front tires lock up. Near miss on that one there. So great job by the 68 of Andrew Little on that one.
And that's the second time he's had an issue. This time it was brought out by the 57 to him, but the first time Andrew got loose, I think it was like lap 20 or something, where he almost cleaned out quite a few cars, and they had a little chuckle about it. So Andrew's just had a very active race so far through 72 laps.
I believe he apologized for the near brown pants moment on the first
that
one.
was it.
Yeah, he got loose and then was stuck in the middle 3 wide as everybody was scrambling and stayed clean. So again, I mean, handling issues on that, but drivers doing just a damn good job at locking it down to keep it, the damage and the collateral damage minimalized.
Yeah, 100%. A lot of the wrecks have been just they're the cleanest wrecks possible when you only have one car involved. So as the 28 does cross the line, this is going to mark halfway through this 145 lap event here at New Hampshire. And I think they're going to be going side by side this time, which means we're going to have the one to go in the air. Yeah, there's the lane choice. Mr. Ryan Bean is just changing it up. This time going back to the bottom on this restart over Blake Howell.
Yeah, and again, in all honesty, Jeremy, I don't think it matters what lane the 28 of Ryan Bean chooses. I really don't. He's got these restarts down. Again, this is a driver's track. This may be a track that he really enjoys. He's got the restarts down, but I tell you what, the 26 of Blake Howell had an excellent restart on that last restart. Restarted 4th, and by the time they exited turn 2, was up to P2. So excellent restarts for the 26. He knows how to restart. He's got a very hungry 45 of Nathan Campbell behind him, and that 2 of Zach Stratenethal, also very hungry. So here we go as we are getting ready to go back to green flag racing. Green flag is out, and like always, another excellent start by the 28 of Bean.
This time the 45, if he doesn't get tagged in the rear, he's going to have a good chance of running inside this top 3 here. Looking on back to the 38 and the 45, both of them have a little bit of wobble direct center of the corner. Coming off corner X at the 45, the 38. Still side by side, that's Nathan Campbell and James Catrone. Still side by side right behind them. They're also 2 by 2. The first couple guys have single filed out, but everybody else for the entire lap, side by side, Dustin.
Yeah, right now your podium, like you said, single filed out. Now your top 5 single filed out, but they are still fighting back there for that 6th position, currently held by Hayden in that number 5, but under a lot of pressure from the 16 of Upbrook on that outside as they are getting so close. And right behind him, a very hungry, very, very hungry 17 is right behind them as well. So again, 17 trying to work the inside. That's Zabladil trying to work the inside of Upbrook as they are coming off the corner, and Brock Potter looking to try to follow suit right behind.
We know Kevin has that really fast car. He was up in the top 3 for a majority of this race before a pit stop scrambled him back. But he is working his way back up through the field, still up 2 spots from his overall starting spot. So overall green on his radar. But things have single filed out. This is going to make passing really difficult here when the opportunity is not really presenting itself. A couple cars back, we're seeing single or double file. It's going to be the 16, it looks like, of Matt Upbrook. Alongside him is going to be the 34 of Nolan Potter, who is up 13 spots, is now going to pass the 16 of Upbrook. And when he comes down and makes contact with the 23 of Harold Watkins, not sure what that was all about, just misjudged that corner exit. He comes on radio, says he's sorry, so he just misjudged it. But that causes the 16 to lose a few more spots, Dustin.
Yeah, well, and that all started with the 16 of Upbrook. That I don't know what happened on that one there. We're actually going to go back to the pass that Nolan Potter made on him. But Upbrook just, went way wide, tagged the wall. That's what shot him back down, almost like a supercharged diamond corner right into the passenger side door panel of the 23 of Harold Watkins. Both drivers still able to keep it going, though.
And as we're looking through this replay here, back to live, you see 16, just in turn 2, before the replay ended, he got massively loose on corner exit, lost another 10 spots. That 16 is going to drop back from 15th to 23rd, so only 8 spots, really. But that guy is falling back like a rock. Now, we got another spinner here. It looks like, was that the 23 or 22? Either way.
33.
33, James. Yeah. Sorry to cut you off there, but yeah, that's your spinner there, and that's your 9th caution this evening.
Yeah, again, it looked like it was that tough corner entry angle on that one there. You see he dives it in. A little bit of contact there with the 21 there, close racing, but it was just enough to offset the balance of that car there, and that's all it took, Jeremy, to send him around. Again, single car incidents, but it's one that brings out a full course caution on this one here again, as we are now working another caution here. And he let off too. He let off. He tried to. That was just close racing. The 21 was not expecting the run. The 21 being Steven Rasick was not expecting the run that the 33 of Fitzmaurice was actually going to get.
Yeah, he came on the radio, 33 did, and just completely apologized. Said I wasn't sure what happened there, but he tried what he could and made the contact. He apologized for it. So no harm, no foul as far as any type of tempers. But as we're cycling through these laps to go back to green flag for the 10th time this evening, we are going to kick it to another picture-in-picture commercial break. We'll be back with you guys in just a few laps for the start of this race again. And back to full screen action here, waiting for the green flag to fly for the 10th time. As that number 28, Ryan Bean, is restarted in first place. I think 8 of these 10 starts here. And of course, we know what that's going to look like. The 45 is maintaining well. He just needs a long run. And I think that 45 and Nathan Campbell has something to prove here. 38 of James Catrone also. I think he's in a similar boat. Um, just needs the log laps, get this thing going. The 17, he's up a couple spots since that last caution, up to sixth. So I know he's the top 5 contender for sure. We just have to get these laps going, and here we go. Green flag again. The number 2 of Zach is going to pass the 26 there of Blake coming through turn number 1. What a great start there from that number 2 as they go single file.
Yeah, and right now that puts Blake Howell in the 26 under attack from the 38 of Catrone. Catrone now on the inside. But right now that high side and that run off of turn 2 is going to prevail as the 26 now clears him. And now Catrone battling side by side with the 45 of Campbell.
And the double-digit caution has happened, the 10th one this evening. This time it's going to be about the number 21 of Steven Rasick. Looks like he had a little bit of help going through turn 3, and oh my gosh, the number 80 looks like his brakes broke or something. He just drove straight into him and full sent him into the corner, put him in the outside wall, and no damage to the number 80 there.
That was a hard impact. We're going to take a look from the actual back bumper, and you're going to see this 80 just close in. And I mean, he closes in, he tries to turn to go in between, but it's already too late. There's already contact, there's already damage made on that one. That's a tough break for the 21, because he did absolutely nothing wrong on that one. There wasn't anything else that he could have done in that situation.
Yeah, I'm looking at the car stats here, Dustin, as we're on board here with the number 80 of Alonzo King. Just drives it directly into his left rear and full sends him into the corner. I'm looking at the data, and he did slow down the car maybe a second before that contact happened, but then he avoided the lockup and it full sent him the rest of the way into the corner. Eddie was deep on the binder, so not slide up any further, but so there was an attempt to slow down the car. I guess he just completely misjudged that braking point.
Yeah, and the one that pays the price on that one there, unfortunately, is going to be the 21 of Steven Rasick. He's gonna again have to try to get that damage repaired. Don't know how much damage is there, because that was heavy impact, rear end impact on that one there, Jeremy. And that's not. I mean, these cars are not aero dependent as much at this track here, but rear end impact like that is going to damage that rear wing. That's going to affect that downforce on that. And with cars that are already struggling with being loose at this track, the 21 may have his hands full before this night's over.
Yeah, that little 3.5-inch spoiler definitely needs to be there with these handling issues, like you said, to give any kind of downforce possible to rear these cars to get them glued. But they're just struggling off corner exit to get that power down in these next gen Cup cars here. Um, so very similar restart here going to happen. Of course, the 28 is going to lead the way for the 9th time to the green flag. Zach Stratenthal, I think I got it right this time. Going to be restarting a second once again. Blake Howell showed some speed on that last restart. He might be up to something here. Maybe he can get one more jump and get himself in a P2. But these guys are all lined up. We got a few laps to go before green. We're going to shout out another one of our partners here for this broadcast. This time we're going to jump it over to Martin Sports, small company with a big time product, home of the sim gloves in sim racing. Makes them the most breathable and durable gloves the sim racing world has ever seen. And they also specialize in fully customized sublimation printing on everything from team uniforms to shirts and hoodies, which allows for zero restrictions on color and allows for the absolute fastest turnaround in the business. And they also do custom embroidering with hats too. So a huge apparel lineup here. Check out everything they have to offer at martinsports906.com or the shortened link at martinsports.gg. Either way, it's going to get you there. And they offer one of the biggest discount codes on the market for any partnership, 25% off the entire cart when you purchase from martinsports.gg. Dustin, we got a half a lap left before we go green.
Yeah, and like you said, 25% off. Just tell Scott Martin and Sue Martin over at Martin Sports that the Nerds sent you. They got a lot of cool stuff over there, a lot of exclusive apparel coming from the Nerds as well, exclusively created and held only by Martin Sports. So, again, getting ready to go back to Green Flag Racing, Jeremy, is we are going to have another restart. Expect that 28 to get a good run right now. If the 45 can match, the 45 may be able to jump from fourth to second. And right now, he's looking like he's in line. Big bump. Does the 26 of Blake Howell give the 2 of Shertenethal? And that's going to propel him to second. Now the battle is for third between Campbell and Howell. Campbell is going to come out on top. Now gives chase to the 2 of Shertenethal.
Nathan just carried a little extra speed to the center of the corner, had to check up, and he almost lost third place, got bumped in the back by the 5 momentarily. But they are single file 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now 6 side by side, 7th on back.
Yeah, side by side still trying to figure out what is going on. You see the 17 of Zabladil dive down to the inside of Catrone right now. They are going to go side by side, but that high side is going to get slowed up a little bit from the 26 of Howell, who had to recover from a little bit of looseness going in. Now the 17 is going to be blocked. Again, still side by side is the 17 of Zabladil and the 38 of Catrone, as they're getting a lot of pressure from behind from the 34 of Potter. A little bit of contact there, but they keep going.
Nolan gains 1 spot that last lap, quickly trying to get around the number 38 of James Catrone to gain 7th place here. Has his nose on the inside. They're going to be direct. Oh, no, never mind. The 34 just got deleted off the turn number 2, smashes the inside guardrail, and once again, no caution because they're out of harm's way from everybody else. That was just hard racing. The 34 was making some moves, and just that is super unfortunate.
Yeah, that is an unfortunate break right there. Again, just off that treacherous turn 2, Jeremy, that right there has been coffin corner, literally and metaphorically. Coffin corner, because the space that you think you have closes up real fast, like a coffin, and because it has been the bane of some of the drivers' races right now, as we see contact side by side, little door rubbing and checking between the 26 of Howell and the 17 of Zabladil, as they are right now battling for that top 5 position and 5th as they dive it off into turn 1, still side by side.
Excellent racing by these two. They are door to door, almost making contact. I love your coffin corner naming there. That I'm gonna steal that one. I think put that in my book, which we know if you've watched us is very inaccurate. But the 26, we know it's true. That's why you're laughing there.
It's true.
It's true. It's damn true. If you want to go WWE there, but the 26 now the 17 on him again. He had him cleared off a turn 4. Just cannot do it as the 17 to Kevin goes driving deep into the corner in turn number 1. Is going to keep that high side momentum off corner exit, and now the 26 back on the attack.
Yeah, 26 still hanging strong there. That 17 gets a good corner exit in straightaway speed, which allows him to pull forward, just not enough to keep it going, as we have our 11th caution out tonight. This one here looks to involve the 38 of James Catrone, as he is involved in that one there. Oh, my goodness.
32 around. That's Kane Lee there. And that machine deep into the grass. They're in that Burger King Toyota Camry. We're going to have to see a couple cars and a couple different wrecks here. This, I think, initially, it's hard to tell, Dustin. There was multiple wrecks in this single corner. So it's going to be really hard to figure out who started this initially. There's a 38 and the 23. At the same time, you saw smoke behind them. So
that's
38
why
goes
the 32 of Kane Lee got loose. He was trying to check up for the contact that happened between the 23 of Watkins and the 38 of Catrone as they were coming through the corner and locking it up. He lost control of it and sent it down through the grass on that one there. So again, side by side. Oh, you see the 23, Jeremy. That transition from lane 1 to lane 2 got a little loose and had to drive up the track a little bit. Unfortunately, that position was currently being held by the 38 of Catrone on that one. So 23 on that little transition right there. And you see a little bobble right there, got loose, tried to lock it up. but it was already too late. Contact was made. The 11 had nowhere to go on that one, just to finish off the 38 on his little 360 tour around the corner there.
Yeah, he just does a great job, and he might have had it saved, but the 11 just could not be any more patient. At some point you can't stop on the track, so had to do that. Here's on board with your number 11, and there's the contact. Stop, 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 stop. Have to slow down. Have to slow down. You're just like, okay, I can't do this anymore, and there he goes around. And there was another wreck right behind him that was not from this initial one. Alonzo King in the 80, once again involved in some form of accident, drives it deep into turn 3. That's very same corner and slaps the outside wall. Actually, nope, he missed it. So it's just a single spin there.
Yeah. So again, Jeremy, this is we've talked about it. I mean, these drivers, and it's very tempting. It is very tempting to try to pull it down to that inside lane there. And for everybody watching out there, I'm trying to get the tower split up there, and it seems like every time I get the tower split up, a caution comes out. I'm a little leery now about getting that tower split there to show below the top 20 because it just seems like it's a form of commentator's curse. But I do know that it's very tempting to get that car and send it down to that first lane there because most drivers don't want to go down there. So it's an open lane. You get that run, you can cut that corner, but the trick is you have to stay down there. How many cautions now, Jeremy, have we seen come out? And how many spins and wrecks have we seen happen because drivers were half of the car was on lane 1, the other half was in lane 2, and it just offset that balance.
Yeah, this race presented by JSXL Construction has just been all over the place when it comes to what kind of wrecks have happened. Just all the 2x2, all the beating and banging, single file wrecks that somehow have not collected more than 5 guys on multiple occasions. Don't ask me how. These guys are just very good at wreck avoidance at this point. But these guys are lined back up. We're going to take the green flag for the 12th time. Going to resume on lap 99 as the 23 gets the EOL. He drops back to the tail end of the field. It's going to put him about 25th or so. And this is going to bring us 51 laps to go, Dustin. So we are 2/3 of the way through, 1/3 left. And I would ask you about picks at this point in time, but it's just so sporadic. I don't know who to choose just yet. We're going to see if this 45, though, on the inside. This is the first time we're going to see Nathan Campbell restart here on the bottom. He's going to be alongside the 5, going to try to get to the inside of Zach's bumper. Does not do it. The 2 and the 28 clear themselves. 1 and 2.
Yep. So first and second are in line, but the 5 right now, Matt Hayden battling with the 45 of Nate Campbell. Nate Campbell will take over that 3rd position, and now Kevin Zabladil side by side with Hayden. I do want to shout out in the chats. We have had Mitchell Owens on YouTube ask or shout out, "Let's go Hodge," talking about none other than Alexander Hodge and that number 11, who we seen was on the binders heavy to try to stay out of Catrone. But was unable to do so, but got out of that with minimal damage.
Yeah, that number 11 car has been in multiple occasions on this track, but still running just outside the top 10, currently in 11th place, single file with himself right now. Looking at this 3-wide race here, 57 on the bottom. You got the number 4 of Brock Potter just on the outside, and the 6 backs it down, that being Rusty Modesty. He actually made a little contact off the corner exit. Now he's got the 99 to his inside, but these guys racing super hard, Dustin, here as we're on lap 101.
Yeah, as you see more contact between the 57 of Fine and the 4 of Brock Potter. They're side by side off of there. Back behind them, you got the 99 and 6, the 99 of Kevin Ruff, the 6 of Rusty Modesty racing side by side. Those drivers finally making their way back up into the top 10 after early race cautions and mishaps. Put them deep in the field. They have now made it back up. But the talk in the race right now is the 57 of Fine and the 4 of Brock Potter. More contact. They are just laying and weighing on each other, but nowhere to go because right now the 26 of Howell and the 5 of Hayden are running side by side right in front of them.
The 57 is just leaning on that 4 to keep him in that second groove, and the 26 almost making contact with the 5 of Matt Hayden as well. So 4 cars 2x2, both laying on the outside car's door panel here, but they're doing it super clean. No wreck just yet from these guys. as they're now approaching, I think, one of our longest green flag runs of this evening. And behind them, they also got another 2x2 that's getting pretty close.
Yeah, that's 2x2 of Rough and Modesty. So again, I mean, we the side by side racing here, and that's why this track it is a very good track. Is finally the 26 of Hal prevails over the 5 of Hayden, but still the 57 of Fine and the 4 of Potter still side by side trying to duke that one out. Potter checked up as the 57 kind of uses the 5 of Hayden as a pick there to kind of slow it up, but they're still side by side, Jeremy, as that race is heating up. Finally, the race between the 99 of Rough and the 6 of Modesty. Modesty finally gives that up. The 99 of Rough takes that over. And right now, Modesty getting passed by the 80 of Alonzo King Jr.
Yeah, a little overheat in the tires there, probably. It's going to send him back, switching him back to the 4 and the 57. This is the race on the track here. They will not let each other go. The 4 of Brock Potter is doing an excellent job crowding Brian Fine in the corners enough to choke him on corner exit, not let him get the power down. The number 4, Brock, is doing quite opposite, getting all the power down to his wheels, keeping that momentum rolling. In the center of the corner, Brock just seems to rotate a little bit better. So if he can get clear of the 57, I think he's going to be able to drive off and set sail away from him. But just continuing now, Dustin, for like 6 laps, we're seeing this race as they're dead heat every single time.
Yeah, and we seen something like this very similar yesterday in FTSR when we broadcasted this very same track between Richie Coy and Connor LaFrance. And right now, Brock Potter is doing the exact same thing Connor LaFrance did yesterday. He's crowding him, not really making contact, just not really giving him any room. And like you said, it's cutting that corner exit off. And that's why now for 7 straight laps, these two have been neck and neck going through these corners.
Still at it here. The number 5, Matt Hayden, looking in his mirror like, you guys can keep doing this because you're not going to pass me while you're doing this. I'm just going to run my stuff here. As the 6 and the 99 find themselves side by side once again on the back half of your screen here. Oh, it looks like the 6 makes that quick, clean pass back to stay in front of that 99 of Kevin Ruff there. He's trying, though. He's trying everything. Oh, the 4 gets clear the 57. I got to raise my voice. That's the first time we've seen that in 10 laps. And they go single file for the first time.
First time we've seen that in 10 laps. Yeah, but I mean, the racing, though, I mean, that was good, hard, clean racing. A little bit of rubbing. Hey, rubbing is racing as long as it's clean like that. Both of those drivers kept it just that. I mean, they laid on each other a little bit. There's a few extra donuts on the passenger side of Fine's car, a few extra donuts on the driver's side of Potter's car. But you know what? That's racing at New Hampshire all day long. So they finally get that figured out right now. Your top 10 still from the top being Schertenthal in second, Campbell third. You got Zabladil fourth. You got Blake Howell in fifth. Your top 10 now is Hayden, Potter, Fine, Alonzo King Jr., and Modesty. Just outside right now, duking it out, is Kevin Ruff in 11th, and duking it for that 12th position, Alexander Hodge in that 11, and the 34 of Nolan Potter.
Nolan's still up. Oh, he makes contact, sends him in the 11.
He saves it. What a save!
How in the world did he just do that? Slid through the entire turn 1, and look at this man. Did not spin. Excellent car control.
What a save that was from the 11. Alexander Hodge going through there. We are going to watch that. I mean, you're going to see this guy completely sideways. These guys were weighing on it. This is coming down the front stretch. You're going to see the contact going into the corner. It's going to be just enough. I mean, he is slideways all the way through, keeps it going. Excellent heads up driving from everybody behind him. But Jeremy, that right there deserves a good hands award because, yeah, he may have lost about 3-4 positions there. But my goodness, the car control to only lose that many and keep her going.
Thanks to Jason. Ever since then he brought up bring up the Martin Sports hashtag get a grip. They need to do a graphic where you take out the lucky dog and just put straight up get a grip award because that deserves, or the 11 deserves that title. I don't care what anybody else does on this race at this point forward. Just an amazing set of hands there to keep hold of that car. And he only lost 3 spots doing it. So now he resides in 16th place. As we got another wreck here in turn 3 and 4. No caution yet. Slow is going to be the 34 of Nolan Potter. He's going to lose about 10 spots going down the front straight really slow. Didn't see exactly what happened there.
Yeah, not sure what's going on. Man, Potter is just all out of funk right now. He is locking it up going in. He's got to get back in that rhythm again. It does look like that the other car involved could have been a connection issue as well because we lost camera feed on it. Was the 80 of Alonzo King Jr. Was involved in that one as well. So just a lot of mishaps going into that corner there. No caution, like you said, but Nolan Potter lost a lot of positions on that exchange.
Yeah, actually, the biggest loser too is Rusty Modesty. If you can try to get that camera going from lap 112, that turn 3. Um, the 57, the 80 drove it into turn 3. It looks like the 57 crowded him a little too strong coming through here. Makes the late attempt for the pass. Contact was made. He slides a 6, directly impacts him in the back bumper, and that's where the car lost connection or whatnot. That's why it sends the camera out that way. But that was the initial cause of that.
Yeah, and like you said, that was the toughest one on that one there. Just Rusty Modesty had nowhere to go, had a front row seat to see what happened. Locked it up, just went straight up, instant contact. You see Rusty tries to turn and then the car disappears. And that's where you see the lockup there from Nolan Potter as well in the 34. He lost a lot on that one as well, but unknown on the front end damage on that number 6, if it was actually going to register or not due to that disconnect.
Yeah, he didn't disconnect from the session, so I'm kind of surprised he disappeared like that. But yeah, we definitely stay green. And we got another spinner in the back. This time, the 12th caution presented by Roasted Gems Coffee's out. Oh, don't back it up. Okay, good. All right, spins it back around, does another 360. We're good to go. That's going to be the number 85 of Justin Hendry.
Yeah, that one there. We just came back to live after reviewing that the last incident. This one here is going to be, like you said, the 85 of Justin Hendry just gets loose. That coffin corner coming out of turn 2 did just that. Caught somebody else there. Luckily, Nolan Potter, though, just missing that one there. That was a close one there. We're going to try to get an onboard with Nolan Potter on that one there. That was a very close one, as you're going to see the 85 of Hendry get loose right here. He's going to get loose. Little bit of contact. Potter keeps going, though.
What an eventful set of laps for Mr. Potter. Just a couple laps ago on that lap 112, had that incident where he got choked up by the number 6 there, making contact with the 80. He lost 10 spots, and then he comes into that one and, makes more contact there. But you see pit road is a busy place. We have just under 30 laps to go in this event. So if you have your last set of tires, you are taking them right now. You see the jacks coming up on all these cars, so it's nothing about fuel mileage. It's all about getting those last set of tires on your car and running it to the end.
Yeah, Jeremy, but we see that there are 5 drivers that elected to stay out. 6 actually on this one here is Tony Ludi now is going to take up the 6th position, but Catrone is going to hold the top spot. Upbrook is going to hold 2nd. Kane Lee 3rd. Nolan Potter, again, who we just talked about having a very eventful set of about 5 laps, is going to be in 4th. Steven Rasick is going to be 5th, and I had already talked about Tony Ludi going to be holding that 6th position. 7th place on back, Jeremy, all pitted for fresh tires. So this is going to be interesting, like you said. Less than 30 to go right now. It's going to get interesting.
We saw this firsthand yesterday, did we not? When we had our 11th caution, the last one of yesterday's race, and we had Austin Gassion stay out past the leader of the race, which had a dominant car, Richie Coy, who chatted with us right before the drop of the green flag tonight, and he held him off. He was able to do it, but that was 10 laps or so, right? Now we got, 25, 24 to go whenever the green flag does fly here on this restart. So a lot more. But the same token, Ryan Bean has to pass more than just 2 cars. You said he's going to be restarting in 7th. So that is 3 rows of cars this guy has to get around to get back to the front. So if this plays out, this strategy once again could be the call of the night.
It very well could be something. A few more wild cards that have been thrown in on this one, though, is last night when we seen the strategy happen, it was a 2-tire strategy over a 4-tire. These top 6, if you look at the stint length right now for our pit breakdown, these are 23 old tires, 23 lap old tires, 24 now. So by the time we go green flag, they're going to be 25. Granted, a number of those have been under caution, but they don't have a 2-tire strategy, and they only have right now, if you look at it, the 38 of Catrone only has 5 other drivers in between him and Bean right now, who's got 4 fresh Goodyear sneakers on that car. So going to be interesting to see how this plays out.
And that is a very solid point you bring up, and great that you had the graphics there to show when the pit stops. That yellow and blue graph is just all over the map there. Multiple pit stops from everybody within that lap span. And yeah, this is going to be a 4-tire difference versus the 2-tire from last night. So in that sense, the 28 and Ryan Bean should be able to get around these guys a little bit faster than what we saw last night. But we are a corner away from going green flag for the 13th time this evening. Going to be led by the 38 of James Catrone. Restart is out. He looks like the 28 on that restart gets a great launch over the 16 of Matt Upbrook and the 34 Nolan Potter, who stays out after being involved technically in that last caution. Going to maintain third, maybe fourth, coming through turn 2. Kane Lee up to his highest spot in this race in third.
Almost trying 3 wide there. The 28 of Ryan Bean with the fresh tires was on the inside of the 21 of Rasick, who was on the inside of the 8 of Ludi. And again, we're 3 wide right now with Rasick, Zabladil, and Ludi. Bean right now trying to find a way through this one here, Jeremy. This right here could spell disaster if not timed just right, as these drivers are having a mixture. Almost 4 wide.
4 wide.
Wow. Unbelievable. As a 34 Nolan gets loose. Big pile up in the back.
The big one for this evening. And man, as soon as we're talking about the I-4 traffic here on the turn 1 and 2, the number 4 gets hooked right on corner exit. And we're going to have to take multiple angles at this one. Brock Potter looks like was the initial start of that, getting hooked potentially. Door checked really by the 99 of Kevin Ruff, and then about 5 or 6 cars just pile in, including the guy who's been involved in all these, the number 11.
Yeah, again, just tough situations here when it comes to a number of these here. This was a bad one. This was the big one. They have made it 122 laps before they had the big one. 3 wide there was the culprit on that one. Again, mixture of old tires and new tires. The 99 of Kevin Ruff involved in that one. We've seen Brock Potter was involved in that one. Looked like the 8 of Tony Ludi was involved in that one as well. 5 of Matt Hayden was involved. The 11 of Alexander Hodge involved. Man, who was in that Caterpillar car? Because they just blasted right through that.
It's either the 10 or the 33 who has a look like of the old Caterpillar skin. I'll have to figure that one out here real quick. And that was
it might have been 10 of Boughton. Yeah. Yes, that was that was ridiculous. They're going to go on board on this one here. Watch this drive through. You see Mayhem and Sue in front. He's like, what? Hole? See ya. All the way through. No contact. That was good heads-up driving.
There's your Lucky Dog Award without being the official Lucky Dog Award from that guy. He just held the wheel straight almost with a little wobble left and right, and everything just parted away from him as he got there. So huge break there for Adam to avoid everything on that notion. And speaking of Lucky Dog, I think that's going to be the number 68 of Andrew Little. 2 laps down that last spot. He's got some nose damage to that thing, but give him the award for this caution here. He's going to get back around, and I think this will put him 1 lap down. And if this race continues the way it is, that next lap will be his, and he'll be on the lead lap.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, depending on how it is, we got We are working our 13th caution as it sits right now, and those are 13 honest cautions because it was an actual caution that came out and that led to the stage break. So that's been 13 cautions since the drop of the green flag. Now, mind you, most of these incidents that we have actually had have only been a single car incident, maybe a two car, maybe three car incident, three car, very rare. That last one that you guys just seen was the biggest wreck that we have seen tonight. These drivers have been doing a damn good job um, on that one there. And Facebook chats, Sherry Edwards Culver says, kind of lucky too. We can only assume that she is talking about the 10 of Adam Boughton, who sat here and just blasted through the center like a Hall of Fame halfback during the Super Bowl for the game-winning touchdown. So excellent job.
Yeah, 1000% there. These guys are lined up two by two. That means we got one lap to go before we go green once again for a nice little 19 lap shootout here. Before we go back to green, I want to shout out another one of our partners, this time at iRacing iFlag. Standard for the open source race marshalling lightboard system, 64 LEDs that displays all the iRacing notifications, flags, you name it. It's going to be in a really bright 3D printed box, fully customized too. Different color options, different ways to display this thing on your desk. One of a kind product that completes your sim rig. So head over to iRacingIFlag.com. Use Super Nerd at checkout. If you do purchase, it'll save you 15% off. And Dustin, we're going back to a green flag here. Pace truck dipping down. Will the 38 get that same launch like he did that last restart? But the 28 tries to check it up, and there's a domino effect here. The 38 into the 17, vice versa. And that is the 14th caution. That domino effect ultimately took care of Tony Ludi as it got all the way back. That bump, Dustin, happened on position 4, and that wreck happened around 13th or so.
Yeah, even all the way back. I mean, you had right there, the very last shotgun on the field. Even Rusty Modesty got a piece of that one as well. And Jeremy, he was all the way at the tail end as he was involved in one of the previous ones. So again, just the repercussions on that. I mean, just look at the domino effect on that. Ooh, hard impact between the 8 of Ludi and the 82. That was, I mean, for not even being up to speed, that was just, that was brutal contact.
Really was, and as the 8 came down the track, he collected the number 4, Brock Potter, as well, and he had a hard whip to the right and didn't smash the wall hard at all. But that's the very last car right there on your screen, and he's still involved in this thing. Just oop,
Oh,
just got hooked there. So I'm going to try to count on the numbers here: the 99, the 13, the 8, the 48, the 4, the 82, the 6, the 10. And I think the 5 and 57 technically were involved in that. Just a domino effect from third row since
here
half
we
the
go.
back end of the field.
Look
Boom,
at
boom, boom.
look at all that. I mean, before they were even crossed the line, Jeremy. I mean, you are seeing the destruction. You got the 10 there who just made it through that last caution. 13 involved. You have the 4 involved, the 8 involved. You got the 6 involved. 82. So, I mean, you're talking about 6, 7 cars right there involved just in that, and with some form of damage, even if it's just bumper damage from being rear-ended. I mean, that's a lot for not even being up to speed.
Yeah, 100% there. And so we're going to be cross line at lap 130. We're not going to get this thing restarted to maybe 131, 132. This will be a 15 lap shootout essentially. And if we can avoid the domino effect this time and get these things going, that it's already been pretty interesting with all these cautions and how the short run strategy has to play out in your favor. Most of these guys have their 4 fresh good years, so late pit stops are out of the question. So they are just hungry, and I mean hungry, to get this thing green flagged the rest of the way, because the guy like the 28 of Ryan Bean, who clearly has the fastest car, wants to be back in first.
Yeah, and right now these cautions are only helping out the drivers that stayed out. I mean, you look at the 38 of Catrone, the 16 of Upbrook, the 17 of Zabladil. I mean, those drivers stayed out when everybody else pitted, and these cautions are just helping them stay up there and making Ryan Bean's job in that 28 machine that much harder. I want to jump to the chats. Sherry Edwards Culverts saying yep to my comment about being lucky about the 10. Lonzo King jumps in and says, well, just was not my night. It's looking that way for a lot of drivers, buddy. This track here has definitely been the biggest challenge for drivers out there. And Sherry Culver saying, thank goodness Jerry made it through that one, talking about that last incident that happened on the start and referring to the number 13, Jerry Culver, who made it through there with minimal issues on that one there, maybe just a little rear bumper damaged and dents, but otherwise nothing major on that, Jeremy. So again, we're getting ready to go back green flag racing as it goes. We're going to have 14 to go by the time we get green flag. We're going to see what's going to happen. Can these drivers, being Catrone, Upbrook, and Zabladil, hold off fresh tires from Bean? Lee was another one that stayed out, and Potter, who has been everywhere on this track, is currently sitting in 6th. So, Jeremy, we're about to find out in 14 short laps.
Kane Lee, Nolan Potter, they've had some of the best strategy here. Kane Lee, especially, 29th on the starting grid, currently in 5th, right? So 24 spots earned. So whatever he does at this point, I think is going to be a win regardless. But green flag is out. The 38 does not get the launch like he did the last couple of restarts, but that 17 of Kevin Zabladil gets to the back bumper of the 38, nudges him a little bit deeper into corner entry here. And there's Ryan Bean on this set of tires looking real hungry here, utilizing the bottom of the track. Hit car feels comfortable enough to do so as he's going to try to look deep into turn 3.
Yeah, deep in the turn 3, the 16 of Upbrook drives it hard in there close as he's now side by side with the 28 of Bean. And look at this race behind, starting with the 32 of Kane Lee. Oh my goodness, what happened there? The 17 and 16 way off pace. There's another caution right there coming out, presented by Roasted Gems.
Oh my gosh, another 6-7 cars involved in this one. They're still wrecking in the middle of 1 and 2. I heard, Dustin, in my ear, a little scrape of the wall by one car, and I started the cycle back to figure it out, and then I just saw the bottom car, whoever that was, slide deep into turn 1 and just merge into traffic, and it was just on from there.
Yeah, we're going to see if we can't try to get some camera angles, see if we can't see where this may have started on this one here. And, 17 just gets loose. That's a 17 of Zabladil gets loose. There's where that contact is made between those two that gets those off pace. The 32 checks up the 34, blasts right through the center, taking notes from the 10 from a couple cautions ago, right through the center. But that is going to set it up. You see the two of Zach down low, way too low of an entry. The car is not going to be able to stay down there. That was setting it up for disaster. Drifts up into the quarter panel of the 34, right up in front of the 17. 17 slows up. The 21 slows up. They both get through. I don't know how they even got through that, Jeremy. That was, wow.
17 and 21, I have no idea how they didn't get involved either there. The 21 actually made contact with the back of the 17 there, but did not send him sideways. We're going to try to get some angles here. Here's from Ryan Bean. You see the 17 just go right into the outside wall, stacks him up. Zach shoots it up the track. Entering the corner at the very bottom is very difficult at New Hampshire. Did not get on the binders enough, and that's what sent this one off.
Yeah, we're going to watch it from Zabladil now. Ooh. There was that little bit of contact there, and you're going to see everybody slows up going in. There's the contact right there. He breaks, a little bit of contact, squeaks by. 23 gets tagged on that one there. That's Watkins gets involved. Looks like the 45 of Campbell barely misses that one as well. So we're going to have to go on board, see if we can't catch some onboard from Nathan Campbell. Right there, you see some contact. That's what put him further back, and that might have been his saving grace right there, because that would have put him right in the middle, Jeremy.
It really would have, and I was really surprised Nolan Potter was able to just split that gap almost full throttle. You see, oh man, the 23 right in front of the 45 here of Campbell just barely lost some paint on the nose, but we're good to go on that notion. No harm, no foul from the 45's perspective. Yeah, there was quite a few moves. I was like, how did you get through? And then there's a couple of really unfortunate ones that did not. This will be awarded with the number 2 to go EOL
Ooh.
at this restart.
Look at the 34 Potter going through there, and you see the contact right there. I honestly don't, like I said, I mean, there was a couple things that happened on that one. The two of Zach Shertenethal was not expecting the 34 to be up there. I mean, the 34 blasted through, I mean, just shot right through the middle so fast that he was not expecting him to be up there going into turn one. So he probably thought he had a little bit more room to come up having that low entry. But unfortunately, the 34, I mean, just masterfully made it right through, splitting everybody. But then put him right in coffin corner right there, going in, no room whatsoever. And the two had to drift up because of that low corner entry going in.
Yeah, 100% here. These guys are now side by side once again. For the 16th time, we're going to see this green flag fly. And this is what Ryan wants. He's got now the position, right? He has the best restart single-handedly down. Like we know his 28's got this. The 38 though needs to have that restart he had, not this last one, with the one before where he was able to clear the 17 by at least 2 or 3 car lengths. Because we know the 28's going to be uppity up, whatever gear ratio he's got set up, or he's just that good on the restarts. Either way, we're going to find out who's got the best 8 on the car, whether it has the 2 or the 3 next to it. We're going to see Pace Truck is down, and there's the 38 with an excellent launch. That's exactly what he needed to at least protect his position. We have 8 to go in this race. The 28 drives it deep into 1, gets right back to the bumper real quick, and the 16th caution by Roasted Gems Coffee is flying before we get to the backstretch. And Dustin, this is by the number 48 being collected with a wreck that actually happened in front of him. The 8, the 48, and quite a few others involved in this one.
Oh yeah, 848 right there. Again, that just almost identical to what happened last time. Just looked like a start miscue on that one. 48, everybody took off. 48 didn't really take off on that one.
Right.
And
Oh,
then
look right.
and then got on the brake when there was lockup right in front of him.
Yeah, switch over to the number 11 in the 57. This is where the initial wreck was. You see right there the black car and the green car on the inside lane. They make contact well before the start finish line. 57, you see right there being circled on your screen. There's the hook, and
Right.
there's the checkup, and then the 8 just didn't see it.
No, 8 didn't see it, and then both of those drivers just bye-bye. They Houdini that thing, and again, the 48 not knowing what to do. Hey, are you guys going to come back or not? And the 8 just could not see anything on that one. We're going to go on board right now with the from the 8's point of view on that one there and show you exactly. I mean, all he's going to see is smoke. He's not going to know what's going on. He kind of sees a little bit there. But again, that's from the roof cam. Let's actually go on board with the helmet cam so you can actually see exactly what Tony Ludi couldn't really see with everything that's going on. I mean, he's focused, sees smoke, 48 not going, doesn't know why. And again, all the cars are gone. So that's just one of those latency issues that happens. And again, restart woes still take place. And Jeremy, that is only helping the 38 of Catrone right now maintain that top spot, up 25 positions from his starting spot to lead this race right now with a hot rod Ryan Bean in the 28 behind him. But look at this, Jeremy. Out of the top 6, James Catrone up 25 positions in first. Kane Lee up 24 positions in 5th. Adam Boughton up 21 positions in 6th. And then even back to 8th, you got Steven Rasick up 17 positions in 8th. Kevin Ruff up 11 positions in 7th. A lot of big movers.
Yeah, as soon as you made that mention there, to start that off, I was looking through the list, and yeah, you are absolutely correct. The amount of positions that have been flip-flopped on this from the initial start up until now, that's quite impressive. Um, And then of course you got the people that were involved in the wrecks that like Trevor Massetti, who started this race, started sixth. Now he's in 32nd. Like that's where he's gonna finish there, unfortunately. A lot of other guys just flip flop due to these wrecks, and that's been the big key part. Is the guys that have been fast now in the back with damage, multiple laps down. The guys up in the front now either A had that pit strategy like the 38. This is why James Catrone is leading. Remember, he did not pit when everybody else did about 20 laps prior, maybe even 30 at this point. And so, that's. I just got word too. I was looking at the admin talk and whatnot, and the 11 admin Hodge basically hit the incident limit, and so that's why we saw the 11 disappear real quick on the track, and Brian find the 57, the other car that was involved in that one, disappeared, and he had disconnected kind of quickly after that. So I would imagine very similar story. The incident count just a little too high for those two guys.
And that's a tough break. I do want to shout out the third driver of this number 13, Jerry Culver. In all of the views we've been catching, I have been seeing that green skull car make his way through it somehow, some way, every time. So I got to give a shout out to Jerry Culver because I've been seeing that car a lot in a lot of these replays, and he's still sitting there 15th right now, up 5 positions.
And here we go. Green flag is out again. The 38 does not get the start that he wanted, but he's able to clear the 28. Does he block the lane low? He does not. The 28 shoots it deep. These guys are going to be side by side. The 38 has the preferred groove, and the 32 loses it. I think he's going to be able to save it on the apron. We're going to stay green flag here. The 28, the 38, he's going to protect his line. The 28 shoots down low. Excellent job by Ryan Bean to make that pass happen. And there we go. We're going to have a caution before we do. Before they get to the line for 2 to go, we're going to see the number 10 go around in turns 3 and 4. I think he got hooked by somebody. Dustin could not tell. But that is your 17th caution this evening.
Yeah, and I am sorry. I'm just going to say it right now. I'm going to apologize to Jerry Culver on that one there because I do believe he was involved. That one there. Later
Oops.
on, you see him slide in the picture right there. Commentator's curse. So, Sherry out there watching, I apologize. We should know better than to showcase and talk about somebody. But I don't think he really got that much damage, Jeremy, in all honesty, with that one. That he may have lucked out on that. You see him lock it up right here. He slides it, dirt tracking it, little bit of wall contact, a little bit more. Yeah, he got a little bit more on that one there, but everything still seems like it's working on that one. So, but the big thing was, I mean, everything leading up to this one here, Jeremy. I mean, they were going into the corner, and it looks like Rusty Modesty slipped up. The 10 got loose, so the 10 of Boughton got loose on that one there, and just drivers had nowhere to go.
Yeah, no kidding there. And the 21, again, when you get that long slide there, like the 10 had, the 21 just did not have the patience. He did for a little bit, but you just cannot continue to slow down and lose all those spots. So you finally had to say, you know what, I'm sorry, I just have to send you and get around. Because he's still battling for a decent finish. That 21 is now 6th place, going to be on this restart. So I had to do what you had to do there, unfortunately. But yeah, this is that 28 aggressive move to get to the lead, but now the fastest car is in P1. I don't expect that position to change from this point forward. The real question is, how far does the 38 fall now, being on the outside of this 28?
Yeah, that's going to be the big question. Back to the chats on Facebook. Sherry Edwards Culver says, "That's my boy," and then says, "Jinxed him." Yes, I apologize on
You
that.
did.
I did. And she also says that she knows that's why she always gets nervous about saying anything. Doesn't want to jinx him. So lesson learned. We will try to do that. He did do a good job at preventing any more damage with the the crash happening in front of him. So, but Jeremy, back to the race up front. I got to tell you, I think that Ryan Bean is in the best position right now. He's going to control this restart. Nobody has matched him on restarts really all race long. I don't think the 38 of Catrone, as strong as he has been, is going to be able to do it. He's on older tires, and the timing is just his timing is going to have to be better than perfect. So you take what a perfect restart would be to to maintain. Catrone's is going to have to be better than that. So it's going to be a tough one to beat Ryan Bean on this restart. But stranger things have happened, Jeremy. I mean, we have seen 17 cautions here. We have seen drivers that are up 20 plus positions from their starting position on 25 lap older tires than some of these other drivers, and they're up here holding their own. So, Jeremy, I have no idea what could happen here, but we're going to find out in 3 short laps.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't get extended to another green white checker, they have 2 attempts that they get to use. This is attempt number 1. So either we're going to finish underneath the next flag or we're going to line them back up and do it one more time. Either way, it is coming to the close of this event. Alonzo King on the chat saying, "You say much nicer things to him than I do." I love the humor there.
The camaraderie, it's always good. I mean, this is a
Yeah,
good
right.
group. These is a good group of drivers here for sure.
Yeah, 100%. I'm curious to see if this 38 can do anything to match the 28's restart. I don't think so, but this is the only like real entertaining thing for the lead. And nope, there goes 28's deleted the field. He's got this thing locked down. Now, will the 5 here of Matt Hayden try to make a bold attempt to the bottom? Does not. The 38's going to take second place. The top 3 go single file. Everybody else 2x2 on back.
2x2 on back. The first battle is going to be for that 4th position right now between the 26 of Blake Howell and the 99 of Kevin Ruff, side by side. Again, this is the battle for 4th. Your top 3 have lined up. Bean, Catrone, Hayden, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. White flag is out, presented by nobody, as Jeremy likes to put it.
There you go. Absolutely here. And getting pretty dicey for 10th. And we got a wreck in the... Oh, they actually saved it. The 34. Nolan Potter doing an excellent job saving it. But he's going to lose 10 plus positions.
Rusty Modesty just pointed out.
What's going on here? Kevin Ruff doing a good battle here. But we're going to switch it over to your race leader. Ryan Bean's going to be your Martin Sports winning moment of just complete domination on the restarts. An excellent pass over the 38 of James Catrone to get back to the lead. 28 well-earned victory here this evening.
Yeah, and I tell you what, and I mean, there was so much happening on that last lap. You heard me sit here and say that the 6 of Rusty Modesty pointed out hard racing, trying to come up, trying to go for every position between the 6 of Modesty, the 45 of Campbell, and a little bit of door contact, and then a little bit of wall contact between the Campbell and Modesty, and that was enough to point out Modesty. He disappeared off the track. Campbell would take 6th position, but I tell you what, I have to hand it out. I did not think that call was going to work by staying out on 25 lap older tires, but Catrone pulled it off with a top 3 podium finish as you are watching the 28 of Ryan Bean burn it down on a dominating performance tonight.
Yeah, 100% there as we're going to go over the unofficial grid results presented by Admin Box here. Ryan Bean takes home the trophy for the 2nd race of the 2023 B season. James Catrone in 2nd, Matt Hayden in 3rd, Blake Howell 4th, Kevin Ruff ends up in 5th, Nathan Campbell in 6th, Kevin, I'm going to mess this up, Zabeldil, I think I got that right, it's in 7th, Brock Potter 8th, Harold Watkins in 9th, and Steven Rasick in 10th.
Yeah, rounding out your top 20, 11th through 20th is going to be Matt Upbrook in 11th. 12th is going to be Justin Hendry. Tony Ludi brings it home, P13. Kane Lee, P14. Andrew Little, 15th. Stan Carnathan brings it home, P16. P17 goes to Nolan Potter after rebounding after that caution between him and the 2 of Zach. P18 is going to be Adam Boughton. P19 is going to be Robert Fitzpatrick Sr. And rounding out your top 20 after the commentator's curse, I'm sorry, Sherry, Jerry Culver does round out in 20.
Zach Schrathenthal going to be finishing in 21st. Rusty Modesty 22nd. That's your first car 1 lap down. Brian Fine and everybody else behind him have backed out from the event. So Brian Fine 23rd. Alonzo King 24th. James Fitzmaurice in 25th. Mark Thibodeau in 26th. Richard Gonzalez in 27th. Michael Carter 28th. Michael Martino 29th. And 3 Michaels in a row. Michael Sheffield in 30th. Trevor Massetti 31st. Alexander Hodge in 32nd, and James Wright, who did not take the grid, does end up in 33rd position. We're going to go to full screen commercial break, and hopefully this time we can pull these guys into the booth and get a word with our top three. We'll be right back. And welcome to the Martin Sports Post Race Show, where we're going to bring in tonight's top three to get their word and their final thoughts of tonight's crazy JS Excel Construction 145. First person on the board here in third place, the number 5 of Matt Hayden in the Lumber Home Center Chevrolet Camaro. Matt, do you have a copy?
Yeah, I got that going.
It's going well, man. A very long race, 17 cautions to end this thing out. Just absolute insane. The short run was king. Walk us through your night and how did you think after seeing the cautions build up? What was in your head? How did you need, or what did you need to do to get yourself in that top three?
That track position was the main thing because you knew it was coming. You had officials all week with 400 cautions a race, so you knew that you just had to get in position and then hold your position because if you could edge out a car on a restart, you were probably going to be ahead of them on the other restart coming in 2 or 3 laps. So just trying to be consistent and not make any mistakes. Had a couple of times where I ran out the line and But man, we gave it a shot at that end. I told James on that second last restart, I was gonna, we were gonna launch early. I was gonna try to pin Bean down. I took him almost down to the yellow line, and I said, "Well, that should be enough to hold him." And he drove by both of us, so it just wasn't enough talent in the two behind him to keep him from taking that one. But overall, good run. I'm happy for Lumber One. Got them on the sponsor or as a sponsor on the hood this week, and hopefully for the rest of the season. So happy with finish.
Yeah, I tell you what, you drove a hell of a race, Matt. You really did. Tell us about some of the race in there because throughout the broadcast, Jeremy and I were talking about that. Uh, you drivers had a hard time throughout the race because you weren't just driving each other and everybody's line and how close you were in the corner, but you were also trying to drive the track, which tended to be a worse enemy to many out there. So tell us what your mindset was trying to go through there. I know you said track position was important, but when it actually came down to those battles, battling the drivers and the track, I mean, how did you tackle that?
I was mainly just trying to just hold your line and be consistent because you just had everyone. I mean, including myself, were making you'd run if you were lucky 10 good laps, and then you'd have that one lap where you just open the door for somebody. So it was trying to minimize that. Keep the tires underneath you. Wasn't a lot of drop off in tire. We were still running just as fast laps. We may had 4/10 of a difference, and if you run a bad line, well, there's 4/10 right there. So it was really just kind of just keeping the line. But man, flat tracks like this, it's you just got to be good on the brake and let the car roll and be that was I think people were getting impatient because they'd roll a corner, get momentum on a guy, and they'd want to pick up that throttle and carry that momentum down the front or back stretch, and they just get a hair too early, get the car squirrely. We saw Zab on the front stretch. That's he had a run on Patron for the lead late in that race, and just pick up the throttle just hair too early, and that was it.
Yeah, I did notice that for sure. And that's, yeah. when you have all those cautions, you just want to get all the spots you can before you see the next one fly. So definitely the impatience factor was setting in, I would imagine, for at least half the guys in the field. But um, after all that mayhem, you got third place. So congratulations on picking up that late track position and getting yourself there. The floor is yours. Who would you like to thank before we let you go this evening?
I want to thank everybody over at Zeb Motorsports. James Catrone, congrats to him on second place. He was struggling in the back, made a real good decision to pit right before that stage break, picked up track position, and I mean, you see what track position did. He held on to the front row for the rest of the
And
race. Yeah, just everyone on the team, everyone back home. I've got my son Austin watching, Alex for watching tonight. So I just appreciate everybody. Thank you guys for the broadcast. The first week we had you, I went back. I watched that in bed for the 2 hour broadcast, and I've got this one loaded up, and I'm gonna crawl into bed and watch this one over again, and just try to see what we can do better.
there you go, man. Yeah, appreciate all the words and congratulations once again, man. We will catch you next Tuesday.
Yeah, appreciate everybody out there. Thank y'all.
Yes, sir. That was number 5 driver Matt Hayden, and now it's time to bring in second place. He mentioned him a couple times. That's going to be James Catrone, driver of the 3D Equipment Mobile Repair Service Chevrolet Camaro. Mr. James, you have a copy.
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, man, well earned second place. That pit strategy call with about 30 laps to go, roughly. That was it. That sealed you in. Cautions continue to pile in, and you're able to lock down that spot. My question to you is, could you have done anything different with that 28 once he had that restart tee on the inside?
No, not really. Like, I wasn't really fast here. I was cussing this track and this car all practice. Um, but yeah, once he got by me, there was nothing I could do. I did get a run on him after he initially passed me, and if it went green from there, I definitely could have moved him up the track, and I had my teammate with me, and I think I could have gotten him then. But once he had control of it, there was nothing I could do. I think even on equal tires, it would have been tough, and I definitely wasn't on equal tires. But
Yeah, no, but I tell you what, I mean, you gave a hell of a run on that one there, James, towards the end. Like I said, on that last restart, I mean, those cautions seemed like they were helping you out, but on that last restart, you did clear him. Looked like you could have come down to cut his line off, but you did the sportsman thing there and didn't do that, just not to cause an incident. But I tell you what, your pit strategy, that was the talk. When we seen 6 drivers stay out on 24 lap older tires, I mean, we heard it from Matt about track position was key, but I mean, swinging for the fences. I mean, that's a bold move, Cotton, to sit here and swing for the fences like that, but it worked. I mean, what was your mindset when it come down to make or break decision time like that?
well, look, there again, like if I have winning speed, I will do the same thing. But when I don't, I'm still gonna swing for the fences because I don't want to run 10th ever. I want to either go for the win or end up last trying something different. But I kind of got put in a box with the strategy 'cause, like, I got wrecked twice, and those were when I pitted. Like, I got put to the back because nothing of my doing. I got spun. Luckily, not a lot of damage. But when that happened, it's like, okay, I'm not gonna pass 20 cars. We're all so close on speed and still be able to battle for a win. If I pass 20 cars, I'm going to be have my tires smoked and there's nothing I'm going to do. So I was like, well, what's this play? The first time I got wrecked, it's like, well, I'm at the back, stage is coming, so I got tires and I just coasted around till the stage came. So I had pretty fresh tires and stayed out. That way I could get my track position back. And then again, I got wrecked again, and it's like, well, gonna get tires here, and I'm staying out to then because some carnage is gonna ensue.
Yeah, that it did, man. But at the end of the day, you made the right calls to get you in position, and no outside of top 10 for you. You're going to get P2 for the second race of this 2023 B season. Floor is yours. Who would you like to thank before we let you go this evening?
Thank my wife for taking care of my boys while I'm in here playing video games, and thanks Zabs for being great teammates and run. It was kind of fun running in the top 5 with them this race, and hopefully we can do some more of that. That's pretty much it. Thank you guys. I haven't seen a lot of the broadcast, but what I've seen so far, it's been great. So
I appreciate all the kind words, and yeah, shout out to the wife for letting you do this and finishing second for sure. All right, man, but go ahead and celebrate the rest of the night, and we'll catch you next Tuesday.
yeah, see ya.
Now, second place driver, Mr. James Catrone there in the 38. And now it's time to bring in your race winner, Mr. Ryan Bean, driver of the Mobile One Toyota Camry. Congratulations, guy, on victory lane for race number 2.
Thank you, thank you. It was man, it was tough to work for, but that was a blast.
Yeah, I might have 2 questions if I can. First off, those restarts, what were you doing so differently to get the 2 to 3 car length launches before you even got to turn 1?
Man, as soon as I just get in the restart zone, man, I just jab the throttle, and that's what it is. At least for me, I don't know what everybody. I'm not saying nobody else is doing it, but for me, it just seems to
Yeah.
work out pretty well.
You just caught him sleeping apparently,
Yeah,
but
yeah, that's pretty much, yeah.
over and over and over again. But and the second part is you're doing great. You're up front all night long, and then toward the end here, you got shuffled back when 6 guys decided to stay out with about 30 laps to go. And so, what was your thoughts, and how did you make that move at the end to clear the 38 for the victory?
Yeah, so that yellow came out after maybe a 20 lap run, and I kind of told the team, if I start running like 31, low 31 or like 31 2s, 31 3s, I'm gonna think about pitting. It came out, and I knew some people were gonna stay out, but I figured it'd be kind of easier to come back to the field, but we just kept getting yellows and yellows, and people in front of me kept wrecking. I found something down at the apron that I used to pass Catrone going into 3. But I don't think I'm sitting here talking to you as the winner if that yellow doesn't come out at the end. Or at least not that way. I think James definitely would have had a shot down into 1 there. But once the yellow came out, with my restarts, I kind of had a feeling that we were going to have a bit of an advantage. I just had to hit my marks and ended up running a pretty fast lap there at the end. So I knew once I was out front, it would be up to me to win the race. And we got it done today.
Yeah, you definitely got it done today. I tell you what, we were questioning what was going to happen because we've seen pit strategy play out, and I mean, just completely throw monkey wrenches in all kinds of plans here and end in ways that we never thought that it would end in, like 2 tires beating 4 tires. We've seen that this week. So when it came down to that, you seen those 6 drivers stay out, and then you seen caution after caution. What was going through your mind with every caution that was coming out, knowing that that was taking potential laps away that you needed to try to get back up to that top spot?
Oh yeah, it was once we saw the 6 people, we were kind of, I expected people in front of me, like I said earlier, and it wasn't a problem. But once we kept getting the yellows, and then Zab got in front of us, who was on our strategy, that's where I really started to freak out emotionally, and I was just an emotional wreck. But I'm gonna throw a little friendly jab at Zab here, but of course he saw me in his mirror and he wrecked like always, and yeah, he gave me a
All
chance
right.
there, but. And yeah, we just took off. Got a good restart too. The restart where Catrone led, and I was able to get inside of him was huge too.
Yeah, definitely for sure, man. And hopefully he watches this one back and hears those comments.
I hope.
Maybe, yeah, there you go.
Count on it.
There we go. Well, congratulations, man. Second race of the season in the books. I know you're a last season champion, and to come to the first, non-super speedway style racetrack and to just completely dominate. It looks like you're setting yourself up for a back-to-back mid-season championship here. So continued success for the next 9 races, rather. Floor is yours. Who would like to thank one last time?
Yeah, I want to thank my family. They're all watching. Thank my teammates. Can't do it without them every week. I won the championship, but I think they won the championship with me too because we all work really hard together. You saw us doing some restart games, trying to get everybody where they needed to be. Just had some bad luck at the end. And thanks to you guys, I watched back last week, man. Incredible broadcast. Can't wait to watch this one back, and ready to kick some more ass. Hopefully, the rest of the year.
Hell yeah, man. Get to it and appreciate those words. Go ahead and celebrate, and we will catch you next Tuesday at the Tricky Triangle.
Yes, sir. Thanks.
Yes, sir. And that was the number 28, Mr. Ryan Bean, bringing home the first checker flag of this 11 race season stretch here midway through. And Dustin, 17 cautions. The race was the JS Excel Construction 145. I don't know if they meant that for 1 hour 45 minutes. It felt like I think it was right around that point. But it's over. What are your final outtakes before we close this thing out?
I got to tell you what, though. I mean, these drivers did a fantastic job. I mean, yeah, 17 cautions. That's a larger number. I'm sure admins are probably going to be like, okay, guys, we probably could have knocked that down a little bit, but they have to look at the overall amount, though. I mean, yeah, 17 cautions, but
Yeah.
Jeremy, how many of them were just a single car spin because of the track? These things could have been way worse than what they were. I mean, we had 2 of them at the end that collected 6+ cars, but that was 2 of them at the end in the last 15 laps. What about the other 130 laps prior to that, where we had 15 cautions, and they could have been way bigger, and they weren't. I mean, these drivers did an excellent job. Good
Sure.
heads-up driving. Keeping the cautions as far as the complexity and the size of them down to a minimum. The racing was hard. I mean, we seen side-to-side racing. I mean, just scraping doors. I mean, we seen 3 wide. We seen 4 wide at this track, which is just insane. Overall, I mean, it was a typical New Hampshire race. That's what you expected, a flat 1-mile track like this here. I think the drivers did a good job. They put on a good show, especially at the end. I mean, sparks were flying, fireworks were flying. I mean, it was crazy all the way around. You threw in a little bit of pit strategy on there, sprinkle in a little bit of the team camaraderie, and you get a good race.
Yeah, that was a good point. A lot of guys, or a lot of the cautions were single car spins. I think probably around 50%, give or take a couple, were just single car spins that just happened to be right in front of the field and caused that iRacing yellow to come out there. And everything else was just turned to just being just completely nonsense to these
corner.
guys out there. Coffin corners, you've dubbed it here at New Hampshire. That was impressive how many single things happen just in turn 2 alone on this track. But we're going to close this thing out. Thank our sponsors one last time before we close this thing out altogether. You see them on the right-hand side of your screen. First and foremost, thank you to the league, ERL, for letting us broadcast the RSR Next Gen Cup Series. It's a one-of-a-kind title series that's run underneath the Evolution Racing League. Stay up to date with all the racing news and even join in by signing up and getting there by facebook.com/RSR League. Best One Tire and Service, the Cup Series sponsors here on Tuesdays. So if you're looking for a one-stop automotive repair shop, visit bestonetire.com to find a location nearest you. Admin Box is built by iRacers for iRacers to be utilized in league and hosted races by admins and race control. Visit them at adminbox.com. And again, that's with 2 X's. Blake Howell Designs. If you need a one-of-a-kind way to showcase your sponsors, and look no further than Blake Howell Designs. And you're going to find them at blake.h.designs on Instagram. Martin Sports, top quality apparel to make you look stylish and feel comfortable. See the whole apparel lineup at martinsports.gg. iRacing iFlags, get all of your notifications just a second of a fraction faster without ever leaving the focus from the racing action on your screen. And visit them at iracingiflag.com. Butt Kicker, get the ultimate feel from the sim car with all the bumps and feels from the sim directly into your chair. It kind of makes it more of a realistic approach there for your sim rig. And check them out at thebuttkicker.com. Team Watson Racing Setups, quality professionally built setups for all your asphalt oval needs. And that's at teamwatsonracing.com. And then lastly, Roasted Gems. You heard them all night long. Just start your morning the right way. Get a taste from roastedgems.com. We will see you guys tomorrow if you want to tune in for the FTSR Martin Sports Truck Series. But if you're here watching just the RSR guys do it, we'll see you next Tuesday shortly before 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Till then, stay safe and get your nerd on.